And we are recording. Hello, everyone, once again, and as always, I am Brian Kynes, the creator of the Tales of Ulran campaign setting. We use Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition to tell our story, and the awesome folks that took time out before Labor Day helped me tell this story one session at a time. I'm going to start with the folks you do know, and then we're going to move around to the folks that you don't know. So to my side here, Sean, go ahead and introduce yourself and say who you'll be playing tonight, please.
Hi, my name is Sean, and I will be playing Celine, the rogue monk multi-class changeling.
Well played. Mr. McGuffey, go ahead.
Dan McGuffey, I'll be playing Bastille, the former rogue assassin turned celestial warlock.
Nice. And
also Dayon, since we're on the ship.
yeah,
Who is he's a unique character class. You just have to watch him in action.
yeah. If he's not passed out by the door already, he's safeguarding. Remember, but we'll go over that shit. Okay, Jeremy, you're up, boss.
My name is Jeremy. I will be playing Bromus, who is piloted by a human spirit by the name of Mirk. It is he drives a seraphim, which is an angelic construct, and he is a paladin and one hell of a fortress on the battlefield.
Yes, he is, sir. Literally, he is a fortress. And new guy, who are you and what are you doing here?
My name is Colby, and I'll be playing Kiltusk, who is a native of these islands, from one of these islands, and he is a barbarian, fierce arrow variant, and I am excited to see what he can do.
Nice. I am too, man. I am too. It's going to be nice. So, to recap a little bit about what we had going on last time, a lot. I always like these games that give everyone a chance to kind of like camp out. It's like when you're having all your buddies stay the night over at your house, you don't know what kind of weird shit's going to go down, you know what I mean? But it's kind of like that here on the Lylung. As a Dahan, with the advice of Aeolus, the ship's captain, have decided to move this thing in from such deep water, so if any creatures do happen to attack the ship at night, it's going to be things that would be in more shallow water, more manageable kind of stuff. Dauntus, the small steampunk version of a dwarven bombardier, has been looking out and surveying the waters and has saw some white water and some different things that make him kind of feel uneasy. Having said that, Brahmas, or Mirk, has decided to station himself at the very front of the ship. The ship is into these black sands, which is what the beach is actually made up of. And he is standing there as a watchtower, watching the tree line of these foreign trees, making sure that he's ready for any sign of anything that may come out of there to harm us. Like I've mentioned in other episodes, this is almost like the D&D version of Skull Island. There are big, old, ancient things here that people have forgot about. This is a very old world place based on ancient Aztec, Mayan, and Incan flavors to the different continents and the way people think here. So this is going to be really interesting. If you like that Mesoamerican type history, hopefully you'll get a kick out of this. I have been enjoying making it. Bastille has recruited Valdara, which is always down to scrap and get an excuse to swing her sword at something, the character I personally play. He's developed a new spell by using the feat combo spell, taking two, making them into one badass spell. And I have a feeling he might blow Valdare up. We don't know what's going to happen. But they're going down to the stronghold underneath of the airship, the Lylung, where there's nothing but just cargo, no pulses to stop, no people to kill here, and they're going to test some stuff out. Celine, Sean's character, went through a really nice and well played out metamorphosis the other day, where she took on a different kind of monk path, the way of mercy. Correct, Sean? Okay. And now, after helping Oma, well, let me back up a little bit. Tamara, the paladin that's on this ship, a blonde-haired, very strong, diligent female paladin, helped bring back Oma. Oma is a small summoner cleric. She's actually a spirit walker class. It's something we custom made for clerics. She was severely injured by necrotic forces as we crash landed the ship into the water. And Tamara, with the help of Celine and her new powers, were able to bring her back from this death-like state she was in. Her actually color is coming back into her cheeks, and the curse seems to be lifted. And Celine is going to be making her way from that room. And we will start with Sean and give him a chance to say what he would like to do as everyone is finding slumber throughout the night. Last thing, people that aren't here tonight, Rachel is at a Comic-Con, I believe, helping her sister with some things. We've talked briefly, and I have an idea what things she will do and what things she won't do. So I'll be kind of helping guide her through this. She is sleeping in a hammock outside in the pouring rain with just a tarp over top of her where she can keep her eye on Brahmas, and also listening to all the lowlanders on the ship sing this kind of almost like folk song type thing in unison as the ship is rocking back and forth from the strong winds and storm. Silouan's always been impressed that these lowlanders can find happiness no matter what situation they're thrust into. With that, Celine, I will say that after Oma was stabilized and you left the hand of Tamara and had that conversation with Aeolus, I'm going to say you're leaving that chamber, okay? As you do, you would see Dahan standing outside of Aeolus's main chambers, the main place that where the magic happens, as Aeolus would say. And Dahan seems to be smelling a little bit more of alcohol than he has in a while, but seems to be steadfast and is patiently sitting outside the door, almost like he's safeguarding it from somebody as you walk out of the hallway from the other side chamber. Do you have an interaction with Dahan, or do you have other plans?
Celine would like to check. So is it obvious that he's a little intoxicated?
Roll a perception check with advantage because it's Dahan.
Perception, that's a 16.
16 will do it. Yeah. And the thing is, Dahan typically, well, you know what, Danny, explain to him your mindset and how much you've had and why. Just give him a 16's worth of information.
So with everything that went down with Oma and then the ship itself and after the landing, and then he got with Aeolus and Aeolus said meet him for a drink. And Dahan picked up his old jug that he hadn't touched in a while and tore into it.
Okay. Is the jug on you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Figuratively and literally.
Celine, embracing this new form this new monastic tradition that she has, which is all about, healing and helping the sick and whatnot. She's going to see if she can ascertain what kind of alcohol is in the jug and then go back into her room and kind of work with a medicine kit to kind of come up with kind of a hangover cure.
Okay, so
and then
describe what he sees. You just kind of come out, give him that stepmom look, and then walk away, or what are we thinking here?
Yeah.
It kind of smells of nutmeg and spices, but it is high test.
Okay. Yeah. So Celine is kind of hobbling over because she's super exhausted. She trained all of her chi into that reviving of Oma. So all of her features are dulled at the moment, kind of like a gray, as if all the energy has left her body. But she just kind of gives Dahan a once over. She takes note of the alcohol, and then she goes back into her room, takes out her notebook and her medicine kit, and she starts kind of working on attempting to work on some kind of solution for him if he gets a hangover.
Okay, cool. All right. Just for the hell of it, I'll let you roll a medicine check, and we'll decide how this ends up later on once you've spent some time on it, Sean.
Okay.
Medicine check,
Nice.
herbalism, whatever you want, buddy.
I get proficiency with the medicine kit with my new monastic tradition. So,
Well played, sir. Nice.
but I got it. I had it anyway because yeah. So that is a total of 25.
25. Nectar of the Gods, buddy. Well played.
Yeah.
Whatever you're working on, I'd say more than likely, unless he has some kind of incredible drunken, I'm saying it's going to work. Unless he's drinking like it's a bachelor party or something, I'd say you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah. After she makes it, she kind of just sets it down beside him, like a label on it, and says, "In case of hangover." And then she's gonna go back to her room and probably just pass out for the night.
He says it's easier to talk instead of write.
I also realized I have.
She just looks at him, sympathetically, gives him a slight smile, and
He says,
to
"I'm
her
not
room.
that drunk if you'd like some."
She politely declines and walks back.
So I'm just curious, Dehan, what's in the back of your mind now that you've seen Celine in this new form? And this was a person that could possibly be taking over the Dreadnought sometime soon, the other airship. This person is someone that combated, pulled the crossbow out, jumped back and forth from the shadows. I would like for you to do a history check.
Not proficient in intelligence, so that is only a 16.
16 is still pretty decent. It's one better than something that's difficult. Like I said to you before, you know that Oma has revealed to you that she had always watched Sade, as she was formerly known as, go through these transformations. And if anything, you've learned that changelings are whimsical. They are almost like the winds from your experience. And I'm speaking in words that Dehan would understand here. The seasons change in this person quite a lot. And to see this transformation, you do realize this could be in part because they needed to help Oma. And maybe this was a way of Sade doing that. Maybe this is something that she has always wanted to do. But either way, it comes across as a very selfless act. Especially the first time that you see, now making a concoction so you feel better after a while. This is
As she's walking away, he says thank you, but he leaves it open as to what he's thanking her for.
okay. All right. Sean, with that, is there anything else you would like to do before you end the rest of your night? Is there something, if you want to give me some insight as to some of your thoughts, maybe something you're working on overnight? Do you want to practice some of your new skills in the room by yourself? What are you thinking?
Definitely Celine is going to meditate on her new skills, go over the scrolls that she had, and when she gets about pretty tired, she's going to go to sleep.
Roll me a wisdom skill check. Just let me know what you get.
Just straight wisdom?
Uh-huh. Which is proficiency and wisdom bonus because you're a monk.
So that's 19 total.
That's not bad. I will say, because of that, I will let you choose. Of the Shadow Monk, the path you were on, how many different abilities had you learned on that particular tradition so far? Were there 3, 2, 1? How far did you go?
I had learned, let me see, hold on.
And there's a reason I'm asking this mechanically. And I like doing things like this in-game so we know the real reason why.
I think, if I remember correctly...
Gnats, buddy.
So,
Hate gnats. I'm not even drinking beer. And I got beer gnats in here. It's ridiculous.
she had only learned 2 things from the Way of the Shadow, which is the Shadow Arts and the Shadow Step.
I will let you choose one of those with a 19 that you can still retain the knowledge of, even though you are taking on this new path?
I think she'll retain the knowledge of the shadow arts. But it's because shadow arts gives me access to 5 different spells. Do you want to limit that? Or do you want to keep it that same?
No, I'm okay with it as long as it's
Okay.
not. Because the thing is about you, Sean, it's not like you're over the top flashy of what you have. It's not like you've ever done something, like taking a Periton and slamming it into another one. You've never done anything crazy like that, Danny McGuffey. So I'm okay with this. I like what you've done with the character. I love the reasoning behind it, and I'm willing to reward you for that. So yes, you can keep that one of those 2 abilities and then progress in your normal tree.
Okay.
Right on down the road.
Okay. She'll retain the shadow arts, so the magic spells that she can cast.
Okay, well there you go, bud. Now you've got it. All right, so moving past that, let's go ahead and move over to Bastille. Okay, so Bastille. Well, go ahead and describe to me maybe some of the conversation that you're having with Valdara as you 2 are departing and you're getting ready to go down into the different underbelly places, the cargo holds and stuff of the Lung. I'll start it off for you just to make it easy. By the way, Colby, when we introduce new players, I'll give you a brief description of who they are, so you can kind of get the visual what we're doing here. But when your character meets folks, that's when I'm going to have them describe really what they look like. Okay? We'll save it for that moment, for that moment, okay? So, I'm going to explain Valdara just so you get the scene. Valdara is a Herald of Destruction fighter. She looks like a Viking warrior chick mixed in with like a Dishonored knight kind of deal. She has a large shoulder plate that looks like a chimera's head, like a lion with the dragon and stuff. A large dark gray and brown fur cloak that goes over one shoulder. The other arm is bare. She's a somewhat muscular female. In her face, she looks like, what's her name, Danny? Come on, buddy, help me out.
Crap.
She played the bounty hunter in the new.
Yeah.
Help me out. Begins with G.
It's Gina Serrano.
Do you know who that is? If you watched did you watch The Mandalorian?
No.
You need to find yourself a life. Just look under stuff in the room. How about Deadpool? Oh my God.
I have been watching it, but I keep asking my mom to take the commercials, to buy the premium thing for Hulu, so I don't have to worry about commercials, because I don't feel like watching 5 minutes commercials through Deadpool every 30 minutes.
I understand.
Have you seen the girl with the toothpick, the muscular girl with the toothpick issue? Have you got to that part?
In Deadpool.
No, I've not got to that part.
So anyway,
I knew the nuclear war. That's all I know.
Tell you what we'll do. If you just want to look it up and Google it while we're going through this, you're more than welcome. But that's her. She's got the side of her head heads are shaved. Her head is shaved, and she has a bad claw mark scar that goes across one side of her face. It's rough looking. But that's who she is. And Danny, as you 2 depart from this, feeling pretty good, telling stories about the islands of Terra and just reminiscing about old times and the shit that you 2 had been through. She scoots her chair back and she looks at you, and she is natural 20, sober as a bird. Yeah, buddy. So all this drinking hasn't got her under the table at all. I would like for you, Mr. McGuffey, to roll a Constitution check to see how well you're doing.
Holy crap.
Did you roll? Oh, okay. I was like, don't you do it. Don't you steal Brian's thunder. Okay. Natural 15. All right. So, knowing that Constitution is not Bastille's strong suit, as we have learned throughout watching episodes of this,
17 total.
okay, she is way more sober than you are. And as she scoots her chair back and slams the bottle down that she's drinking and looks at you and grins, and she goes, "You sure you're ready?"
Oh yeah, this is going to be. You have anything that protects against fire?
Yeah, guts.
Nice.
She stands up and she says, "Come on." She goes, "I'm not really worried about keeping this hair anyway. I've always wanted to shave it. Let's go." She stands up and pushes herself off away from the table, and she looks around and she flips a coin to that gnome that had been in there playing those songs earlier and things of that nature.
I hear toss a coin to your Witcher.
Right, yeah, right. Canon, it's canon. Witcher, yeah. So, as she walks out into the hallway, she stands there and looks around for a minute, not knowing exactly where the cargo hold of this ship is. You would know where it is. So it's going to be up for you to lead the way, Bast.
Yeah, he motions down the steps. He says, we got to go down to the lower hold.
She looks around and she says, "I'm doing you a favor, so I'm going to ask that you do me a favor." And she gets this look in her eye like she knows you're not going to like what she has to say. She goes, "There's a lot of people in our lives," she points to you and her, like both of you together, "that have invested a lot of themselves in me. And I didn't ask for any of it. Never asked for any of it. And there's one reason why I like you, Bastille. One main reason. Because you've never gave a shit about me doing what I need to do to get by. You've never judged me. You may have had words to say, and don't think that I didn't listen. I don't have to hide the darkness, the scars, the bullshit back with you, because you know what it takes to make things work. And that's why I'm glad you came with us on this." She goes, "I worry about Silouan, and sometimes I even worry about Tamara's resolve if push comes to shove. I don't know what she's willing to do, but just know this. I'm getting a grip on this." Okay? And as she takes her hand down, she pats her side, and you see her pat this lantern that Tamara has given her. Now, do you guys remember this lantern and what it actually did in game? It's been a little bit. It's something she got off Vander, just for some back knowledge, and it was able to help soothe her at night so she was able to get better sleep and kind of ward off that growing darkness in her. Okay? She doesn't know exactly how it works. All Valdara knows is that it does work somehow. And as long as, Danny, you know that she keeps that by her side, although she may not know, Tamara and Vander both are helping her with this. And they're helping a very prideful Valdara. That way they don't have to argue with her about it. I want you to roll a composure check to make sure you don't laugh about knowing this little bit of information. Because I know how you are.
Grab the right character sheet.
Well, I mean, it helps. And note, Colby, when you're playing a character, don't grab the wrong character sheet. It's good stuff. Good stuff. 24. You are a poker face son of a bitch right now. You know this in the back of your head. And you're able to keep up the guys.
He looks up to her and he says, "Just remember, you don't always have to walk in the darkness alone. Some of us also have our toes there."
That doesn't help to blow off a little bit of steam every once in a while either, does it? Let's go.
He smiles.
Okay. So, I'm going to say you lead the way, tra-la-la, and we get to the cargo hold. Okay? Down in here, there's not much. Gwyneth from the heart of the beast through Oma and through contract and dealings has made sure that the belly of this place is pretty empty, because we don't know what kind of shit the ship is going to be bringing back from this quest. We could possibly have the eggs of some large prehistoric fucking bird. We can have all kinds of scales and hides and stuff, all kinds of stuff. I mean, you can just imagine how much money Gwyneth is going to make off this if you fill this empty void even a quarter full. Okay? And as Valdara's walking along through there, and she's kind of moving her hand over the empty crates and looking around all the potentials, she takes a long, deep breath, and you hear the cloak drop to the floor as her back's to you, and you can see that she's reached up and she's taken it off, and it's fallen to the floor behind her. She reaches back behind herself and pulls off that great sword of one arm and drags it across the wooden planks of the floor as it gnarls in just from the sheer weight of it. As she turns around and flips her hair back up out of her face, she cracks her neck left and right, and she looks at you. She goes, "So remind me again why spells are better than blades." And she grins and she prepares herself. What are you doing?
He smiles, and when he does, he puts his hand up in the air as he starts to draw the rune and mumble in Celestial. As he starts through the rune for mirror image, he does something different and hooks it at the end.
Okay, so describe to me what I'm seeing.
So normally, like, his spells end up having like a lit rune, and she's seen him do mirror image, but this time each of the images has a short burst of flame for a second, and then they're all scattering around, popping with him again like a regular mirror image.
Okay. She goes, "Hide and go seek, is it?" Fair enough. And she goes at you. Do you want to roll initiative, or are you holding off and waiting?
He is holding off and waiting. He's wanting to see how this rolls out.
Okay. Well, I can tell you how it's going to roll out. I'm going to kick your ass. I'm going to tell you right now. So, $25 to hit.
25 to hit. So
And now I roll the 1d20. Do I roll it, or do you?
I do. So I am above an 8. You do hit it, and it is 10 plus my dex modifier. Therefore, you would hit with that. You hit a double.
Okay, so explain to everybody what happens is Valdara lashes forward and she swings into this illusionary grouping of you, swinging, trying to find purchase, not being able to discern which one's which. But this time when they came into reality, there was a bit of a radiant flame that erupted from them as a celestial warlock now, as she swings through the side of one, trying to use a cleaving strike so she can hit two at once, which is what I did. She hits the one. Describe to everyone what they see.
It blinks out of existence with a fire, and when it does, she gets a chance to dex save, and I should have rolled initially for the spell. So the dex save would be his spell bonus. Shoot, I've got that wrong. I've still got it the old way, so I got to add that up.
It's all good. 1d20 plus what?
Plus
Your
9,
spell
so that's 18 she's got to.
As she swings through, 17. Full damage?
Yep.
Okay. So
16
I have...
points of radiant fire.
Now what's great is my cloak gives me fire resistance, but I dropped it because I didn't realize that we were playing that kind of chess. So yeah, roll your damage and tell me what I take.
16.
Asshole. 16. 'Tis but a scratch. All right. So as I go through there, not only do I hit a mirror illusion of him, but I burst in flames as if a hellish rebuke has went off at the same time. And the mind reels. 16, you bastard. Okay. Because I hit on the first one, any image to the left and right of it in that cleaving area, if there were to be three grouped together, they would take half damage from that, and I would get rolls at disadvantage with them with the one single swing. That's what the cleaving strike does. Let me see here. Okay, that's going to be a 16. That's going to be a miss on the one on the left of that. Okay. And that's going to be a 23 on the one to the right of that. Is that enough to hit it?
It is, and it turns out to be another image.
Okay, so another dex check?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Natural 9. 15.
9 more.
Damn you. All right, and she goes through and eliminates another one of these. And as she does, you see the fires erupt around from her. Every time she hits one, it blows that hair back, and you can see her kind of wince. She goes, I've almost found you. She's going to take one last attack action. And with this one, she's going to do an area move. Well, no, I'd have to take my full turn to do that. So, with bonus action, she is going to Land of the Storm. And okay, so give me an idea roughly how you guys are lined up right now. Are you all within 5 foot of one another?
Yeah, they all occupy the same space, and the images keep blurring around, so you can't tell which one's which.
Okay.
That's how the spell works.
She's doing the Blade of Redemption, and it shoots out in a cone shape. Okay, with her bonus action to ignite it. You would have to do a dexterity saving throw to take half or no damage.
Okay, in that case, if it's after reading mirror image, I've been doing it wrong. If it's not an actual attack, it doesn't affect the image; it ignores it. So I'll make a
No
dex save.
shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Aren't we clever?
Dex save would be dex 28.
Yeah, you definitely pass. My DC ended up being a 16.
So he is half or no damage from his rogue skills.
I know, you roguish bastard. So with that, she slams it down, and you see an arc, triangular shape that's 5 foot wide at her and 15 foot wide on up, shoots out, and as it does, she looks with a little bit of excitement as she sees lightning go through these images, trying to see which one pinpoints to you. And at the end of it, she's like, huh? And she's looking left and right and doesn't see anything with it. She's going to use Steadfast Assault, and she's going to hold herself and not move a bit and put her blade down on her hip, on her leg, and kind of wait. And that's going to give her the opportunity to do 2 parries on her next turn.
Bast smiles.
She goes, your turn.
He pulls out his standard daggers instead of his celestial daggers. And he smiles and he says, I found out what I needed to know. And he dismisses the clone and he said, so let's just have some fun.
As she was getting ready to ask where the voice came from, all of a sudden they go and she goes, pretty cocky. Let's do this. Dance, buddy. Let's go.
Want to do initiatives to start now?
No, go ahead. She's got two.
Okay.
She's got 2 held attacks. You bring the thunder, bitch. See what you got.
All right. He is going to dash up and use combo attack. So
You guys can hear You Shook Me All Night Long by AC/DC rolling up through the stairway as the ship's just going like this, as these two are down in the belly of it just getting after it. All right. So you're doing, okay, I know it. I heard what you said. Go ahead and give me some rolls, sir.
All right. So first attack would be 26 to hit.
That hits, but it does not breach, sir.
Right. That would be 3 plus 6. So 9 for that one. And then
that does not beat the breaking point of the armor, so I'll be taking 9 points of non-lethal damage. I'm saying this out loud, so Colby, you'll get a feel for what's going on here. Okay? He used a dagger attack. It wasn't quite enough to breach me in one hit or break the breaking point, so I take non-lethal from the impact. Okay?
Next one will be 24.
Hits, but it doesn't breach. As you're quicker than her blade, but she's covered up pretty good.
10 points for that one.
That one also does not break the breaking point of the armor. She'll take that in non-lethal.
Natural 20 on this one.
That would breach. This is straight damage on this attack. You bastard.
A whopping 8 points of damage.
Uh-huh. She goes,
And
fire served you better.
the finishing combo, because he's shorter than her and he's got in close, he just jumps up to hit her in the chin with his head. Just to,
You suck. So, Colby, what he's done here, he's used combo attack, and since he hit me every time, he didn't breach it, but he made contact with me every time. Now he gets to finish the combo attack, like the feat you have. Okay? Go ahead,
right, so
jerk.
advantage, and I get plus half versus a con check. DC is 10 plus strength proficiency, so 2, 4, so 16. If she beats that, I don't get the.
Okay,
I
and what
don't
was
stun her.
the attack roll was a natural 20, right?
That was the previous one. This was the finishing combo portion. So I had advantage on the roll, and then which came out to a 18 plus 16, 30.
18 plus 16? Fuck you. Okay, sure. Okay, and see, I was ready for counterattack and parries and stuff, but you're hitting them every time and you can't do it. I don't have elusive step or nothing like that, so I can't help you. So, what you breached, you hit, and what am I rolling to see?
Constitution check versus 16, it looks like.
Oh, I sneeze at you. 24 Constitution check. Really, come on.
So damage plus half versus con check. Failed foe is stunned. So you're not stunned, but the damage is plus half. So 12 points of damage.
12 points of damage. She looks at you and she chuckles and she goes, "Make sure to take those knives back to the gully when you're done. They'll want to spread butter with them in the morning when we're eating breakfast."
And then he'll take his 45 foot of movement. And you said there's crates and stuff around.
There are.
So he hops up to a crate.
Attack of opportunity, but I get 2 of them because of my feet.
But I didn't say it, so I should have used the disengage.
You should have, but
Yeah.
you didn't. Jeremy likes it. 2 swings, attacks of opportunity here. 23?
23 does not hit.
Fuck, bastard. Oh, no, hold on. 28?
Mm-mm.
Are you shitting me?
With his last level up, I put a couple more points with his dex. His ACP is now a 30.
You asshole. I used my 1d6 weapon specialization for the day. Alright, so last one here. Last one of these attacks of opportunity. You bastard. Come on, big roll. That's better. Plus 11, 16, 26, 27. And I'm going to add my d4. If I get a 4, I got you. I got you. Brian rolled a 4.
Ooh.
Gotcha, bitch.
You
All
hit,
right.
but do not breach.
I don't need the breach. I'm not worried about your cloth, my friend. I'm not sweating you at all. So let's bring out some dice.
And my whopping breaking point of 8 points.
I know. Say goodbye. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to do my 1d8 for that. And I've got 7. Oh, I can do that because I have great weapon fighting. Yes, I can. That's way better. 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15, 21, 28 points of slashing damage.
Ooh.
And as she does, she wants to take that, and with that one, she wants to pin whatever she cut off of you to the floor, and she's going to end it there. If you'll have it in there. She goes, "You turn your back to a tiger. That's what you get."
He smiles and he says, "We should do this again when we don't have to be fresh in the morning."
Yeah. She looks at you and smiles, and she picks up that piece of cloth that she cut off that thing that you have, and she picks it up with the end of her sword, and she holds it out to you. And do you take it off the end of the blade?
Yeah, he reaches
Okay.
out, takes it.
As you're doing, she looks at you and she nods. And she says, we should. She goes, how often can you do that? This new thing you've shown me here. That's handy.
I could do it pretty regular for a while. It doesn't cost too much more than the original. It's about twice as much.
She smiles as she kind of walks a circle, half circle around you, just kind of looking at you and studying you up and down. You've changed. I'm not going to say it's for the better. I'm not going to say it's for the worse, but you've changed.
Out of necessity.
Roll a perception check of disadvantage.
15.
With those hits, those magical fire hits that she took, you notice a twitch behind her eye. And you notice she mildly with a 15 acts like someone going through withdrawal symptoms. Mildly. She's a little wide-eyed. She's a little something, and you think it has something to do with the fight, but you just can't quite place. You don't see any other tale with a 15.
He, to make it kind of theatric, he dips into his pool of points that he can give out, and his hand lights up, and he nods.
Okay.
If she takes his hand, he'll give her.
Well, I didn't say she was yet. Now.
Right.
This is Valdara we're talking about. Be careful now. She looks at that. And she looks at that and she looks at you a little sternly because she doesn't like revealing things to people, especially when people study her and know her a little bit. And she's a little hesitant. She has a little bit of a look on her face, a little disgust, a little smell of something, okay? And she looks at you. And she looks up above her at the ceiling of the underneath the ship. And then she looks down at the floor. And she spits on the floor and rubs it out with some kind of mark on her foot. Not just an X, but some kind of mark. Like a rune almost with her foot. And she goes, I'll do it by myself then. And she takes your hand.
So he gives her 2d6.
Okay. All right.
That'd be 8 points back.
Nice, thank you.
He says, I'm not as good on that end as I am at taking it away.
She grins, she goes, that's all right, and she gives you a hearty pat on the shoulder as she helps tie that piece back onto your cloak, almost like a mom would be tying like a kid's tie form and stuff. She's being a bit condescending here to you. Not like a mom, but almost like a over obsessive girlfriend. And she starts tying it back onto you. She goes, when you only get hit once out of every 10 times, you shouldn't have to heal that much anyway, right? She just kind of looks at it and finishes it up and gives you another pound on the shoulder. And then walks away.
Yeah, and as he does, because I was going to talk to you about this anyway, he's looking and he goes, I may have to get, as I get faster, this gets more and more restrictive. I may have to get this modified again.
So who will you see to do something like that? Are we thinking to Vaster? Are we thinking maybe the new folks? The brother and sister? What are you thinking? Are you thinking the avians where you got it from?
Vaster's always done the work for me. I don't think anyone does any better, and we have an agreement, so.
She kind of looks at you, and you know that she has no such agreement with the man, and she wouldn't. She gives you a studying look for a minute. She goes, well, whatever works. Keeps us in one piece and gets us through this. It is what it is. Different roads lead to the same place, Bastille. Okay, with that, was there anything else you wanted to accomplish with this interaction here, Danny? Okay.
He says, back to the pub.
She looks at you and she goes, "You just can't stand losing."
Oh, I
And
know I'm not going to win that battle.
she smiles, but sometimes it's just fun fighting, right? Just trying to win the battle. She goes, "You're on."
He says, as they're walking out, and he says, when you need this, let me know. It's good to have a release.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it is.
Not just for you. And when he says that, he kind of looks away like,
You have your own issues. She says that out loud. She goes, "Don't think I don't know that. You've changed."
he
And she
says,
reiterates.
he rolls that dagger around. He said, it does feel good to use the originals.
The oldies are the
No, I can
classics.
still do it.
Yeah. With that, we're going to go back into the main place, the Dragon's Belly, and have a few more and talk about some things maybe the next day and have a conversation about the large bird itself. She's going to pull out a book, pull out that call that she has, and talk just kind of some theory with you about, what this bird means to these people. What are we actually doing here? And, like Silouan had mentioned before, if we go up here and we've been set up to play the role of Godslayer for these people, we have to be very careful about politically what it is we're getting into. And for her to, you know that Valdara has really studied up on this particular hunt to a degree because she really feels bad about the absence lately. And I've made that apparent in several different episodes. So for her to be having this kind of conversation with you is new for her. And when she says this, she's somewhat stubborn about her ideas. She's trying to pick her words right, but it comes across and rings true to you.
As he's looking and he's paying very close attention, like when she draws something, he looks over it and he would, if he caught anything that he thought might be an issue, he would point it out. But as he does, like when he puts his finger down on one thing, he looks up at her and he says, this is your area of expertise, and just tell me what I got to do, where I've got to be, and we'll bring them all back.
Okay. And she goes, and hopefully save enough where we can go with you on a journey when we're done. Right? And she gives you a knowing look, knowing that although you and her are allies, maybe more so than most of the people on this ship, she knows there's an agenda there. She just doesn't know what it is.
He looks, are they alone in there?
I'll let you know in just a minute. Jeremy, roll me a 1d20. 1 through 5, there's nobody. 6 through 10, there's 2. 11 through 15, 3. 16 through 24.
8.
Just one person. Now roll me a constitution check for that person. We'll see if they're passed out drunk. DC is 15. 1d20 and 1d4 together. Jeremy, tell me what you get.
8.
Dauntus is passed out drunk, laying in a pile of poker chips and stuff with his binoculars laying on side of him, and he's mumbling something about don't make me tell. Don't make me tell. I don't want to tell. And he's probably having some kind of nightmare about that time that they did Toll the Dead on him when he died on the deck of the ship. He's passed out drunk at the table. We are practically alone in here.
He looks over to her and he says, you and Dryden among everyone. But he says, and their conversations before, I may have a path to rescue them.
She looks at you with a long look, and she kind of clenches her jaw and does a sarcastic grin, a quick one. She goes, rescue him from what exactly?
They're trapped in time.
She looks back, not expecting that at all. She goes, "You mean metaphorically? What are we talking about here, Bast? What the fuck have you got into?"
My parents were time mages.
I
Which
want to roll a history check for her and see if she knows anything about what that is. Okay.
which she knew his parents where they're from because they've had that conversation. But
Natural 20!
oh,
I wrote a couple books on it. You can find my best works under Valdara Does Time Travel. Yes, that's right. I know things. So, yeah. She's heard some things about as much as a fighter warrior chick could have heard about some shit like that. She stayed at a Holiday Inn last night. You know, what can I say? A Motel 6, I guess, yeah. So, she looks at you and she says, and she sits back and she takes a really big drink of what she has and she pushes the bottle over to you and nudges it. She goes, "All right, go on."
he takes a sip and he says, "The thing I'm after will give me access to a way to control time magic. And it won't be as wild as what they dealt with, which means I have a chance to go get them. Not just when
When you say those words, and I know, and I like doing this because as you're stumbling for the words to finish that sentence, Danny, you look into her eyes, and I'm not even going to have you roll this. I think this is good for the story. You see something very familiar in her eyes when you make that talk about, "I'm going to change this, I can rewrite this, I can do this." You can see the possibilities and the fear of those possibilities. Regrets that she could rewrite, things that she could change. You see all these emotions flash across her eyes as you have seen those flash across Rothadir's eyes. And in your own mind, you know the look that's the same one you had when you first started thinking about the possibilities of this. And you know right now she's going through that same cycle. And she's chewing it over. The last few words that you say, whatever they are, you probably imagine they would fall on deaf ears because she is lost in a few moments of the possibilities if this is true. Okay? Go
he
ahead.
says, "I don't even know what it's going to cost me, but I know I've got to try it."
She goes to ask a question and she opens her mouth and she holds her hand up. And she puts her elbow down and she pulls her hand up through her hair. And as she does, her fan rolls down over those scars across her face. And you see just an instance where she looks at her hand and looks at those scars for a minute. And thinks.
He looks and he says, "I wondered the same. But I'm not going to bring them back before. I'm going to bring them back to this timeline. Because if I change it, I change you, I change me."
Timelines? And first off, let's not flatter ourselves here, Bastille. No one changes me but me. And you can see she's a little ignorant to the larger scope of this. Maybe a little too stubborn to understand how intricate this is. Okay? And when she thinks on it for a minute, she goes, "Whatever you or we end up doing here," she goes, "You're good enough for me to have a drink with any time." She goes, "I'd kill for you, Bastille." She goes, "And you know that." She goes, "But what you got to ask yourself is, you're good enough to hang out with me and I'll give you my blade, but are you good enough to do this?" She leans forward and she points forward like that as she grabs for that bottle from you. And she goes, "People aren't supposed to write things like that. People shouldn't, right?
That's what I thought.
Who the hell are we to decide that?" And she takes a long drink and sits the bottle down, just kind of looks at you.
All I know is you know where it all comes from. We've had this talk and we don't go down that path.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's true.
but he gave me his blessing. He said it's new.
With that, we'll go ahead and end that conversation. Okay? Good stuff. All right, Brahmas. Well, no, real quick, just for a minute, I'm going to do something. This is a little flash in the pan, and we're going to get to you, okay, buddy? Okay? Colby. A major storm has been rolling in over the Crescent Cradle, and it's been building for the last several days. You could tell the way the tide's been rushing in on the black sands. The way the heavier, humid winds have been blowing through the tropical trees of this place, flipping the leaves upside down. You can tell even from the way that the airborne predators that fly from island to island have really roosted and are trying to weather whatever's coming. You've been able to tell. You have several different nets out on the northern coast of the most northernmost island of the Crescent Cradle, which is called Tenosia. Okay, and you know that if the storms are getting ready to be as severe as they are, you're going to have to go in there and you have to get those nets in pretty soon. As you're on your steed, and the two of you are traveling through, and the storm whips in and the rain's coming down very heavily. Okay? Roll me a perception check. That's wisdom and your proficiency bonus on a 1d20. Okay. With an 18, you catch a glimpse of something as you're about 200 or 300 yards off from the edge of the coastline. And there's a parting in the trees up ahead, and a normal path that's fairly wide that you've made, and people make traveling on and off of these black sand beaches. And as you do, and a crash of lightning comes down from behind you, it stirs your creature just a little bit as it stops. And all of a sudden it stops more than usual, against your will, and it smells. And it moves its teeth apart, and it starts... It's moving its head sharp like a bird would move one. And you look at it, and in the flash of lightning, you see a man-made ship coming in and just now starting to part the sands, almost like putting a hot knife through butter, as the black sands seem to give way as the moonlight shines down on top of this. You hear different low, hushed voices and things come from this ship. You've never been to the main continents. You've seen the people from there. You're no fool. You understand their ways and how far they've actually removed themselves from the original mortals of this world. And why would they be here? Why would they have sailed in this? You weren't able to hear them crash land in the water because of the storm. But you know they obviously have no idea what's coming. And they seem to have pulled in close to where several of your nets are put out into the shoreline. What is it that you're doing? You would be very cautious about this. And also, you would know that these storming waters bring in different predators, that when it's not safe for them to be out in some of the waters, some of them take into the shallows. And you would have a lot going on in your mind. You don't know how safe they'd be there. You don't know how safe you would be there. What is it that Kiltusk is doing?
Kiltusk is going to cautiously and stay on guard to retrieve his nets. And on the way back from the shore, from retrieving his nets, do a quick glance or sort of inspection of the ship that has landed.
Okay, and just for curiosity's sake, what kind of things is it you're looking for? You're looking to see, like, possibly if they're bedded down enough where you could get your nets without being seen? Are you looking to see if they're militant in nature and seem hostile? Are you looking to see if they're maybe poachers, if they're here to collect slaves? Just what kind of stuff particularly are you looking for?
Um,
You can say all the above. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying it's all good, man.
um, I would say that Kiltusk is looking for like signs that might cause trouble on this island, that might cause him trouble for his tribe or just himself in general.
Okay. Roll me another perception check, please.
Another 18.
Okay. The ship, although capable, seems to be too domesticated for it to be any real threat to anything. It's not here for war. It's not trying to deploy people on the shoreline. It's not got a bunch of the sound. You've been around rival tribes that shout out war cries and do things in a very militant fashion. You're not getting that from there. And in the distance, you hear something that might actually bring a little bit of a grin to your face. You hear some softly hummed song from the mainlanders, from the New World, as if they're almost in some kind of medley of harmony. And you've been a part of these bonfire rituals where your people will chant songs and play instruments and things together and celebrate hunts in the next day and the coming of different seasons and things like that. But this is whimsical. This is strange. But they sound happy. They sound happy. With that, you also realize that there's some movement around. They've set anchor, but you don't see them deploying anything. And in the distance, you see one thing very, very interesting. As you start to focus your keen eyes, which are very, very decent, they're almost animal-like. As you focus in on the bow of the ship, you would see something moving on the ship that has quite a bit of weight to it. And you can see the splashes around the outer rim of it as it weighs itself in the water, almost like you're stepping on a boat dock. And in the front of it seems to be some living ancient statue with radiant glowing eyes, made of some kind of metal and stone. It seems to walk and find purchase on the very front of the ship and looks out almost like some ancient guardian of a temple or something like that. Like you've seen different old places by the people that have lived here at the beginning of society, and the large constructed things they've made out of stone. This almost looks like a functioning one. And that makes you extremely curious. You know a deity wouldn't be on a ship like that, but these are strange times, and the gods mingle amongst people all the time. But this looks like some things that you've seen before. Maybe briefly. Maybe it's your imagination, maybe it's the rain, maybe it's the heart pounding in your chest as you're holding back that keen awareness from rising up and biting your lip to where it bleeds. But something very strange has just landed on your shores. And we're going to pause there for a minute. We're going to go down to Jeremy. I'll get back to you, okay? And think about your reactions, and I'll tell you the next thing that happens here in a little bit, okay, Colby?
Okay.
All right. Jeremy. Inside of Brahmas, Mirk has just had a conversation with Vel'undal, the female Valkyrie, that calls upon your einherjar soul to do battle for her as a favor for her giving you long and extended chance at life. Do you remember a little bit of the conversation, and can you refresh me as to what you said to her?
I don't know that he said much.
She had mentioned something about Silouan, because she had noticed that Silouan had been inside this place with you. Okay, so I think the last words were, if you choose to bring her along with her, and I will speak to her of the bargain if she wills it to be. As she is someone that can come in here, the tides are changing in the battle. And the devil-like warriors are gaining the upper hand. We need all the help we can get. So I remember her grabbing up her lance and turning around and walking off from you, and says she'll be awaiting to take you there. We haven't got long. And with that, what was Mirk doing?
It was torn because it was either keep watch or go do this.
Yeah. Well, you've had a week to think about it.
Well, no, because when he goes to this, it doesn't take like any real time.
It's very strange, but no, it doesn't. It seems like it takes you in and out of your time and puts you into another.
Yeah.
It's very strange. It's almost like how time moves in here for you, inside of Brahmas. It's very peculiar.
I think with that recollection, he would realize that, just a couple minutes probably wouldn't be too much to ask. So he would go and tell her he's ready.
Okay. As you do, is there any interaction or anything inside this place you're looking to do before you meet her? Are you going to go talk to Silliman first? What is it you're planning on doing here?
No, he's not going to talk to Silver about it.
Okay.
Not yet.
All right.
He's just going to
So-
walk up to her and let's go.
She looks at you, and she looks to your side, and she looks at you. And she goes, well, for both our sakes, I hope you fight with the might of two. She gives you a long, knowing look, and she turns around and her wings expand, bigger than you would have imagined they would have been. And as they do, an almost transparent portal seems to open up in front of her, made of ancient symbols and runes. It seems to illuminate the walls, have done some kind of arcanic rune magic. The actual walls light up and have runes that are similar to this, as if the two are a symbiont to one another. As this opens, you feel on your spiritual version body the heat that comes from this area. It almost turns the air into you around like vapor, like when you're staring at a really hot road and you see the warping because of hot vapors, and it washes by you as it makes you wince. From inside, you can hear blades on blades, demonic howls, and the war cry of some of those other einherjar that you remember seeing in that battle scene. Okay? She goes, for victory, we need but hold them back. I will take it to the Demon Lord personally this time, but you must stay vigilant. I cannot watch you. She says over her shoulder, as she grabs that lance and she holds her hand back behind her, wanting you to grab onto her hand as her wings are spread high. She's getting ready to drag you in through this thing. Are you ready?
He's going to take her hand.
All right. And with that, Jeremy, I'm going to share a map. Just 1 second, sir. I want to change my music up a little bit because it's not so nice in here, you understand. Just 1 minute here, boss. Let's get this here.
Not to say I would be opposed at all to be hearing Through the Fire and the Flames in the background.
Right on, yeah. You know what? This ain't a radio. I ain't a disc jockey, buddy. I'll do what I can. All right, so let's go ahead and get this going. We'll talk about making some remixes later on down the road. That's funny.
There you
All right, share screen, advanced, share sound, portion of screen, share. And we're getting ready to do it right now. Oh yeah. Well, Jeremy, you've been here before, sir. Look familiar?
Huh?
All right, let me make this a little bit bigger here and start this up right. Here we go. Just a minute, buddy. Let me drag this up and make it a little bit bigger for us. Alright, so as you are thrust back down onto this battlefield, is that music too loud for you guys, or can you hear me fine over top of it? We're good? Alright. Alright. You are here as Mirk, not Brahmas. Once again, flesh and blood in this place, fighting against the forces of evil, which is something that the Valkyrie summons for you to do every now and again as part of your pact with her. As you land back in the place, you see the sword from this large demon lord still stuck into the ground where you once were taken from it. Blood still runs down the blade as a confused look runs across the face of this large demonic entity. Okay? He goes, "But how? Back for more?" No! And he holds his hand up like this and he yells for all the ones to come forward. He goes, "Forward!" He pulls his hand back like this. You see the ranks of all the different demonic and undead people that are riding nightmares seem to mount up as you can hear the snorting and the bellowing of them as they start to advance forward. They have came straight up out of a lava lake that is no more than 60 foot ahead of you guys. Okay? And they begin to advance. You are back inside of what was a lightning lore spell that was cast by Vel'undal around you. Anyone that comes within that area of you is struck down by lightning from the skies, if you remember correctly, Jeremy. Okay, do you have your celestial version of your character stats available to you?
Second. Yes.
That is a good thing. That makes Brian's life a hell of a lot easier. Because you just never know when you're going to have to deal with the forces of evil, buddy. Let me get some stuff out here and I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. As I have thrust you right into the middle of this, I still have the original paperwork and the initiative count from when you were ripped from this thing last time. It's like no time has passed for these people. Okay?
Yeah.
Mirk, it is going to be your turn to go first. I will start with your place in the initiative order, then we will continue from there, sir.
Well, he is toe-to-toe with the demon right now, correct?
He is, and let me see if I can remember what the name of this demon was. Do you? I didn't have one. I think I called it Gehenna. It was named after that one because I named it after a basic demon that we're all familiar with. So this names of this one was Gehenna. Gehena. Okay. Yep, I have it written down here. You are toe-to-toe with him, Mirk. You have your great sword, and you know what kind of abilities you have when you are in this state.
He's going to look at him. He's going to say, "The last time was unexpected, but I've grown stronger, and I won't be surprised again."
No, I haven't grown any weaker.
And with
Roll
that,
an
he's gonna
intimidation
swing.
check. Roll an intimidation check. With disadvantage.
It's going to be 7. But he wasn't trying to intimidate him anyway.
Okay. Huh. He got an 8. So, he's hearing you. You both are kind of like, what are we doing here? Alright. So, as you say that, what's the action, boss? What are you thinking?
He's going to swing. He's taking that great axe or that great sword and just.
Okay. Now remember, you have knowledge of your feats and you have knowledge of your spells and all the different kind of things and your smites and everything that you have for your class. You just don't have the function that Brahmas has with his overdrives and things of that nature. But the knowledge is there. It's you, brother. Okay? So go ahead and make your attack roll. It's two-handed or one?
2.
Okay.
It's going to be 21 to hit.
Okay, now if I'm not mistaken, she has put that spell on you where you get a 1d4 added to it.
Oh. So that's 23.
A 23 hits, but it does not breach. As you bring the blade down, as it is somewhat transparent in this place, as you've brought here with you spiritually, you strike down on the torso of the creature in front of you. Go ahead and roll damage, and I'll tell you if you feel it gets through.
Can I do my 1d6 or the weapon specialization one a day?
You can. Do you want to do it on your attack roll, or do you want to do it on your damage?
Do it on the attack roll.
Okay. So you rolled, what'd you get, a 23?
Mm-hmm. That's
Okay.
a 5, so 28.
That breaches. You feel that you just barely breached. So 27 was the number you were looking for, so you've sized it up already. With using that your once a day, that is a straight direct damaging hit. Okay, what are you doing if you're attacked, buddy? Anything special?
I am, first of all, going to add in a little bit of a smite with that.
And why the hell wouldn't you? Hey, Tamara'd be proud.
So that is, I'm going to go ahead and throw it in there at 3rd level.
Okay, make sure to take off your magic points and tell me what that adds. Your sword's 2d6, and that adds how many d8s?
That'd be 3d8. 2d8's
Okay.
the normal, I believe.
Okay.
As I draw.
And then, is there anything else you're doing?
Not right this second.
Okay. Go ahead with that, roll your damage, and tell me what you get, plus your bonuses. These are Mirk's strength bonuses, not Brahmas's.
Right. So that is 16 plus 7.
23?
Yeah, that's just the smite damage.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, almost max damage.
That's awesome, buddy. Rock and roll.
And
Let's
then
go.
it's 6, 7, 8, 9 plus. Just because I don't have his strength stat rolled up, I'm just going to say he's got a 15. So that's a what? That's a plus 3, right?
2. Plus 2.
Plus 2? Okay. So
Possibly. And remember, you're a celestial version of him now, so that's on your stat sheet there if you have that skill available. Now, if you don't now, I get it. But remember, we wrote that up so you know what you are when you turn celestial. It's part of that ability.
yeah, it just doesn't have the regular, the stats wrote out.
Okay.
That was one of the things we needed to re-roll that. Yeah, it's almost say for the moment it's a 15. We'll just go off of an average.
Okay.
So 6, 7, 8, 9, plus 2, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 proficiency. So yeah, 15 slashing.
Okay, so we did 15 slashing and 18 with the other one?
Uh,
Or what was it?
23. 23
15.
radiant.
So all together, okay, it's 28. Now your radiant did a little extra. 49 points of damage with that first strike because you got through and you breached the armor and you're able to get around it. You're able to hit one of these red crevices that seems to show some kind of fire and brimstone like ability, and as you get your sword in that area, you see burst out and the creature howls in pain as it looks down at you. It's going to use its reaction to do a hellish rebuke on you.
Okay.
I want you to roll a dexterity saving throw versus a DC of 17.
That didn't do it. What was it, that one?
Okay.
That D20 has betrayed me.
Oh shit. Oh shit. That's 18 points of fire damage. And I need you to roll me a Constitution saving throw versus a DC of 18 as well. His has got a little extra juice in it.
Constitution saving throw. That's a 16 plus. I'm gonna say it's. We're gonna say he's got a. We're gonna say he's got a 12. I remember it was pretty low versus
Yeah.
Promise.
That would give him like a 1 or 2, right?
Yeah, I think it was a 2.
Okay, plus you get
So
a
that
1d4 because the Valkyrie.
Yeah. So that's already an 18. 19,
That's going to
20,
be
21.
enough. The blade actually heats up extraordinarily hot, as if the heat metal spell has been cast on it, because that's what attacked the creature. But you're able to fight back and resist the fire from burning your hands and letting go of the blade as you cringe out. Let me hear what that sounds like. Tell me what happens. This blade's starting to just burn your hands. You take 2 points additional fire damage, but you maintain and hold on.
I want to say that when that blade heats up, you can hear the searing in his hand, but he tries his best to remain stone faced to this thing.
And with that check, you did that. He looks down at you. I'm going to make a note of that. Go ahead. That's 1 attack. Continue, please.
He is going to use a bonus action to cast Spirit Shroud.
Okay. Spirit Shroud. Explain to me what that does, please.
Spirit Shroud. You call 4 spirits of the dead, which float around you, and it's for the spell's duration, which is 1 minute.
Okay.
It's a concentration spell.
And
They are
what is it?
intangible and invulnerable. Until the spell ends, any attack you make deals 1d8 extra damage when you hit a creature.
Okay.
The damage is radiant, necrotic, or cold, depending on what you choose. Any creature that takes this damage can't regain hit points until the start of your next turn.
No shit. Right on.
In addition, any creature of your choice that you can see that starts its turn within 10 feet of you has its speed reduced by 10 feet until the start of your next turn.
Nice. So, as you invoke this, a very familiar aura seems to emanate from around you. Okay? As this aura seems to float around you as you're starting to cast some kind of magic. And you're able to cast that ability. Make a note of that. And did you make a note of the hit points that you lost?
Yes, 20 altogether, I believe.
Awesome, buddy. Okay, so with that, what is left for your turn? What else do you have in the... Use your bonus action to do that.
1 more attack.
Okay. And now you've got your extra radiant damage on top of it as well. Let's see what you got, buddy.
All right, so that's a plus D4 from her spell, right?
Uh-huh.
It's going to be 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
25 hits, but it does not breach.
You go ahead and use my 1D4 for the turn.
Okay, now you already did your 1d6 for the day.
Mm-hmm. And I get
You
1D4 per turn.
You do, okay.
And that was 2. So was it 20? What did I roll? A 24?
I believe so.
So 26. Yeah.
Still, you didn't quite make it. Okay? You came very, very close, but you still ran into its armor with the blade.
Yep.
Go ahead and tell me what you're doing. You've attacked with the blade. You come back up with another swing. After you've enchanted it. You've got this aura radiating from around you now.
He's going to burn another 3rd level smite.
Okay, write down the magic points.
He's showing him that he ain't screwing around this time.
Okay, and remember, how many times a day can you do that?
5.
Your charisma bonus a day, I think, plus 1.
Yep, so 5.
So 5. So
I feel like I'm a rogue rolling sneak attack dice now. It's
right on, yeah.
4d8 and 2d6.
Yeah, I like it. Now you also get a 1d8 radiant from that spell, right?
Yeah, it's 3d8 radiant plus 1d8 from the spell, which will be radiant,
Right.
and then 2d6 that are slashing.
I like it, buddy.
All
Rock and
right.
roll.
So I'm making all 4 d8s radiant damage. So that is 6, 11, 15, 16, 17, 18 radiant damage.
Wow. Okay.
And that is 6 slashing damage.
Okay. So what's total?
Oh, Lord. What is that? 18, 6,
24. And did you add your regular bonuses on top of that at the end of it?
Oh, I did 6, 7, 8, 9, 30.
30 total. Nice. Now, do you have finishing combo attack as a feat?
I believe I've got combo and finishing.
Okay. You've already used your bonus action, but you've hit with. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I should have had a +1 bonus for that hit because it was a consecutive hit.
You make a valid point. Thank you. With that, that was a breaching hit just on the nose. At a 27, you lucky bastard. All right, so with that, and you go to hit the blade in, it's almost like you're trying to force something into a peg, and as it rattles on the sides of him, it does find purchase a second time as he tries to bring his large arm and shield himself with this dark winged, with this dark feathered wing from beside him, and as he pulls it down, the sword's able to slip in between the feathers and find a place in that fire and brimstone center that this creature has once again. You did the damage full on to it again, plus damage and a half for the radiant. I have to do something. Damn, sir. With a natural 6, the demon is stunned by taking 98 points of radiant damage in one turn with 2 breaching attacks. With her blessing on top of you, the creature is stunned and has disadvantage, and its movement is halved on its next turn. What is it you're doing with the rest of yours, Mr. Keaton?
Let's see. The prerequisites for finishing combo. Let's see. Character performs a 3 attack combo using the same attack bonus progression as combo attack. So is it a 3rd for combo attack and then a 4th for finishing?
What happens is, if you're able to make all your attacks successfully on your turn, you get a free 3rd attack.
Okay.
And it does damage and a half.
Cool.
Because Raider combo attack lets you use your bonus action to do it. But when you're doing the finishing combo attack, it gives you 1 free extra one if you're able to hit in succession.
That's what I'm going to roll with then. Is going to go ahead and hit him with the finisher.
All right. And this will be your last one on this turn.
Yeah. And that is an advantage or no, since he's stunned?
You have to look there, and it's not advantage, but his armor class is reduced because he has, and I've made the adjustment. That's the thing about our system, Colby, is that I can see that if this character's stunned, I can see which things he would be less effective at and take those from his armor class like we talked about last night.
Character gains 1 additional attack with advantage on the attack roll plus and damage plus 1/2 versus a con check. If failed, the foe is dazed.
Yep. So, and I meant to say he's dazed. He's not stunned.
Right.
He's dazed. That's what I meant to say. So, yep, you get advantage on it, sir.
1, 4. I'll take the 21. Yeah, it's going to be a 21 to hit.
Is that plus the 1d4 from her?
Yeah.
That misses.
Oh, damn.
Yep. Just barely, but it does miss.
Probably dazed just enough to like.
Oh, you're right. He's
slog
dazed.
back.
You know, you got him. He's dazed. Let me see how much it takes his AC down. Hold on. And then if that's halved, then that's halved.
DC will be
It-
10 or 1d20 plus strength bonus plus proficiency.
Okay, yeah, you hit him, but you did not breach him with that. So go ahead and roll your damage, and I'll see if it gets through, if he's able to be hurt and do the Constitution on this, because he has a breaking point that you probably will exceed.
All right. So I go ahead and leave the smites on this one. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, 18, 20, 22. 22 damage.
22 damage, that does get through. You feel that about half of it gets through and is able to hurt him. He will make your Constitution check, but he'll do it with advantage. Which we have disadvantage on it, so it evens out. Because he's dazed. What is the DC for this, Jeremy? 1d20 plus what?
1d20 plus strength bonus plus proficiency.
Okay, and that's your strength, which I think is 1 or 2 plus 4, correct?
Yeah. So 1d20 plus 6.
Damn you.
It is a 19 plus 6.
Dude,
25.
you fucking suck, dude. No, he did not pass it. But he is going to use a legendary resistance, and he is going to pass it. Because that's the DM's way of doing things. But he does have those. So, but you know...
I feel like if he's dazed, he'd be like, do I have legendary actions?
You know what? And I want you to know that I'm the kind of guy, I'm glad you feel free to express your feelings with me, and I'm glad we've had this conversation. I think it's really nice of you. That's sweet. So, moving forward. Are you done yet?
Yes, that is it.
God. Okay, like 121 points of, well, and actually, no, I need to add that up because it's radiant, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Part of it was radiant. As a matter of fact, 7 of it was radiant.
128 points of damage. Well done, sir. After that, the demon doesn't have another reaction because the lightning circle that Valkyrie's passed down around you, when it hits creatures, they don't get reactions. It had the one, but that was because it used another legendary action. It's burn him up for its turn. It doesn't have any more left. Okay? So on top of that, in that moment, we're going to fade off of this, and we're going to go back to the ship for a minute, okay?
Merk's here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. He's all out of bubblegum.
He's all out of bubblegum. Okay, so as you're having this battle go on inside of you, let's see, who can I talk to? Let's talk to Sade. As the night goes on in the storm, you find it soothing. This ship isn't as thick and doesn't hold back the sounds of the rain as well as the Dreadnought did, the one you're used to being on for so many years. But the loud sheets of it coming down, although they keep you up, it's quite nice. And now lightning and thunder has started to join in with this storm, and the boat seems to be rocking more so than it did before. As you're looking around your room and you're getting ready to lay down, you're laying there for just a moment. I need you to roll me a perception check, please, as your eyes are barely starting to close as you're finding sleep finally in the room.
That is 17.
Okay. With a 17, we have discussed that there are portals that show out through in some of these rooms like windows to the outside. And although it's dark and you can hear the slappings of rain and mist hitting this thing and the rocking of the ship back and forth ever so slightly with the crack of lightning. And as the crack of lightning comes down the background, you see, is it just you? Are you still chasing back the darkness? But you could have swore you saw the reflection of something in the inside of the room. As if it's captured almost like a flashbulb would if someone had a picture taken of him. And as you look over quickly, you could have swore you saw something that looked like a humanoid arm outside of the portal window as you saw the silhouette of it flash its image against the other side of the cabin right before you find sleep. What do you do?
Sade is going to cast Minor Illusion to kind of like send kind of like a little like red flare out the portal.
Can you cast it through a solid object like that?
Well, it's kind of like just kind of make like a flash on the window itself.
Okay, so you let it off in the room on your side of the window like a flare, like burst of light.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Roll a DC and just see how well you pull off the spell. Roll your spell saving an 8 plus a 1d20 or whatever your number is. It's 1d20 plus what for you when you're casting magic?
6.
Okay. Roll that just so I can see the potency of this.
Oh, not bad. It's a 24.
Damn, sir. Wow. Okay. When you do that, you hear something scratch and give off the sounds of some kind of discomfort outside to the right along the walls and the bows of the ship. If you hear it, and you hear a sound, what do you do?
She
Make
calls
sure
out.
to take the magic points off, by the way.
Yeah. She calls out, whoever's out there, you better keep away.
Okay, not as intimidating as Sade used to be, but it'll work. As you say this, I want to move to Kiltusk. From the banks, and you look out, there's a large strike of lightning that hits off in the distance. I would like for you to roll me a perception check with advantage because you're staring at the outside of the ship, and this is something that you are extraordinarily good at anyway. You're watching this place like a hawk.
Wait, so I'm rolling for what?
A perception check with advantage. So roll d20 twice, give me the highest one, and add your proficiency bonus and your wisdom modifier and all that good shit to it. Because wisdom is you're proficient in that.
19.
A 19. When this flash of lightning goes off, you look over there and you see the silhouette of 3 shadowy figures that seem to be scouring and climbing up the side of the ship. Okay? And as you catch the glimpse of that in the distance, you notice that your creature, your beast that is smelling around, sniffing the air, has kind of been smelling something all along and just wasn't sure. It didn't see it, but you did. And just a moment afterwards, you see a blast of red and orange light shoot out of the portal window of one of these as one of them recoils, and you can see it put its hand up like this. And you can see it raise up its hand like this and whatnot. But off in the distance, maybe 50 yards back from them, you hear this deep voice. It's muffled underneath the sheets of rain as the waves are starting to roll. You could swear you see another image further back. It makes this crazy sound like a chant, and it's piercing through the waves. As you get the glimmer of a trident off in the distance, they continue to scamper up the side of the ship. What is it that Kiltusk is doing?
And
They're being attacked, and you roll a history check. I'll see if you know what these are or not. You don't see them very often. Usually if there's bad storms, usually you just see what they do, which is they steal everything that you've been able to catch in your nets. You have seen these dead before, but it's been rare. These are Merrow. These are very feral aquatic humanoid creatures that seem to have came inshore to not only avoid the major waters and things like that, but to come in and steal from your nets. But then they found something else that was a little bit more interesting, and they seem to be descending upon the ship. Okay? Right on. Danny, you and think about what you're going to do here. Okay, Colby?
Right.
Danny, as you and Valdara are leaving the ship and you're heading out the main doors that leads up to the deck of the ship, or no, you were going back to the bar to have a drink or two.
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to roll me a perception check with disadvantage.
14.
Okay, you hear a loud crack of lightning outside, and Valdara looks over at you and says, looks like that's starting to come in pretty close. I worry about everyone that's up on decks and stuff sleeping, but it is what it is for them, I guess.
I think it's just a storm.
Cold and heat, when they mix, and makes a hell of a storm.
He passes the bottle over to her.
Yep. And you two, and we are none the wiser as to what's going on. Okay? All right. So, with that, let's go back to Sade. Okay, you hear something scampering outside. You've heard something that sounds like it has some kind of intelligence, some kind of feral voice and things as you are shouting back, you'd better stay back. You better not mess with us. What's the next action?
Celine will snap her fingers and have Isadora appear outside the porthole.
Yes.
And through Isadora cast Minor Illusion again. As Isadora opens her beak, a loud, horrendous scream comes out of it.
Okay, the hell of it. Roll me that d20 plus 6. Let me see how badass this is. Okay? I like doing that with spells because you can say something, but I like rolling the DC just to see the emphasis that has. I think it's a good touch.
So I get a +6 to that. So that's a total 26. It was a natural 20.
Okay, so I've got to automatically go back to Bast and Valdara because they have no idea what's going on. They're like, lightning. Yeah, this is good. And they're hanging out, right? And all of a sudden I'm talking like, caw-caw! Like this shit comes
it's the most
booming.
blood-curdling scream that you've ever heard just coming out of this
Sean, actually,
scream.
I'm having a hard time imagining what that would be like. Can you give me an example of what that might
I
sound
can't.
like?
I have neighbors.
That's not fair. That's not fair at all. Well, you can put a GIF in the chat later, and you just give us. It'll be Jim Carrey doing like the most annoying sound a person's ever made. Good stuff. So, moving forward, Bastille, you hear this. Valdara spits her drink out, getting some on you as she's getting ready to put it out. What the fuck? And she does, and she sits the bottle down. What are you doing?
He looks at her, draws a rune, and pops up those images and says, guess it's time to go upstairs.
Roll a Constitution check. I want to see how buzzed you are.
Oh. That's
You're welcome. 8. It's a what?
An 8.
Mm-hmm. You'll be suffering the dazed condition when you go up there, Mr. McGuffey. Write that down.
I cast Lesser Restoration on myself.
Do you?
Yes, I do. Man, that is 4, 6 points.
All right, go ahead. Roll it. Let's see what happens here. What does it do for you?
It's to spell, that would be a 16. And that is basically erases one effect. But let me look at it completely. I'll read it.
Valdara just looks at you and just goes, shameful. That's all she has to say. It's like a stepdad. It's like, I'm not angry at you, Bastille. I'm just disappointed. You know, I'm just disappointed. That's what you get for that, sir.
He looks and he goes, I've got to try not to be hit.
Yeah, point made. As that happens, she gets up to, draws the sword that was leaning against her chair and goes to head up decks. As we come out of this place, are you remaining in your room, Sade?
No, Sade is going to, or Celine is going to go running as fast as she can out the door, and she's gonna try and make as much noise as possible.
I'm going to go ahead and do a performance check to see how loud you can be. And then I'm going to say, since we're about half lit and Danny took time to cast Restoration on himself because he's a little bitch, I'm going to say you probably beat us to the top decks.
Do I get advantage because my bird is screaming?
The bird would if it was the one doing this, but since it's just Celine doing it, there is no advantage.
Okay. That is a 15 total.
15's adequate. 15's adequate. So your Paul Revere, the something is coming. The something is coming. You don't know what this is, but you're shouting it as you are making your way up above decks. But what's great about it is, with Celine's new soft voice, this seems oddly soft-spoken for something that's such a panic condition. So she's like, everyone, it's so anyway, as you head up that direction and you come out onto the bow of the ship, you would see Valdara and Bastille open up the door to the Dragon's Belly, the bar in this place. What is the actual, what do we want to call this? Because it's not exactly a bar, it's not a tavern. It's a place on his ship that is set up to look like this place where gambling and drinks. What would you call that?
Lounge?
A lounge. The Dragon's Belly Lounge. Write that down, somebody. Good God, we got to remember that, okay? The Dragon's Belly Lounge. As you come out of there, you, Kiltusk, have you had a moment to decide what it is you would like to do in this moment? Are you going to go forward and pursue, or are you going to sit back and watch what happens? You have an investment in this. You see that the large statue thing, it looks like a statue of one of your deities possibly, is not moving. And it seems to be unaware of what's going on. And really, there is no right or wrong answer here. What is it you're deciding to do here, Colby?
I'm thinking that I'm going to go up with my creature and try to get these guys off the ship.
Okay, so as you jump on your steed, which is named...
I'm still having trouble with that. I'm just gonna call it Loki for right now.
Loki. All right, that'll work. So as you do this, I want to bring something up for you. Okay, just a moment here. All right, just a moment. Okay, let me go ahead and get some music going and share screen, and we'll jump into this and create the scene, and then we'll go to break shortly afterwards. Okay, with everybody? Okay, so let's go ahead and get this. Turn this up a little bit. I like it. Advanced. Share down screen. Share. Okay. Kiltusk. There you are, buddy. Rain's coming down all around you as you're out of the trees and stuff like this. And your Allosaurus steed comes out of the clouds and woodwork from behind you and comes into view at your side. Okay? And the two of you ride in that direction towards the beach edge as his taloned claws dig deep into the black sands that are all around you. It's heavy fog in here because of the storm, and off in the distance you see the ship. It's very dark out.
Mhm.
You see the statuesque-like character, Brahmas, which is obscured from the sail, standing on the very front bow of the ship. Selwyn's back here hanging in these ropes in a hammock, watching over you in a sleep up till just a minute ago, as her feet bound down and she grabs her lance out after the large screaming of Isadora. Bastille and Valdara just leave the lower decks out these doors and are walking out together into the heavy rain to see what's going on. Caliban and Drayden are on the back rear of the ship, looking around and scouting to see what's coming their way. And then Sade, not Sade, but Celine, because things take time to remember. You came out of these doors a few moments ago. I'm going to give you your movement to get somewhere where you would like to be. Sean, where would you like for her to go?
I'll have Celine go over to the side of the ship where she saw the creatures, and then have her kind of make like a shout as just like the creatures off the whatever side. Creatures off the side of the ship.
Okay. With that, some things come into view. As crawling up along the side of the ship are three very feral-looking Merrow, extraordinarily angry, climbing up the side. And off in the distance, you can see a shadowy figure riding on the waves, but you can't quite make out what the form is yet. And right after we get back from break, we're going to roll initiative. Sound good?
Mhm.
All right. So, Brahmas, you're still inside here doing your own thing, completely unaware of what's going on around you. Okay? So, as we're on our break, you guys give some thought as to some of the things that you might be trying to do when we come back. And things like that. Sound good? On a last note, I'm going to help you with something here, Colby, because you're getting used to this. Since you were able to identify what these creatures were, I would like for you to do me an insight check, please.
That would be a 6.
Okay. Nope, never mind. You're trying to think of something that might be able to help out this situation, but nothing quite comes to mind. Now, you can use your own creativity and decide if there's something you want to do on your turn as you come up in here, but you're a little bit panicked with them coming up the ship so suddenly with the storm, with these new strangers. It's kind of got you off your game a little bit. So you're not quite sure what your plan is yet, okay?
Okay.
All right, and with that...
Quick question. Wait, sorry.
Yes.
Quick question mechanically. Did Celine get at least an hour of rest? Would you say Celine got at least 1 hour of rest?
Yes, I would. Yes, I would.
Okay. Perfect.
Yes, I would. All right, so I'm going to pause this, and we'll BS for a minute, and then we'll come back after we go on our break. See you soon, folks. All right, so we're back. And today's trivia question was asked by Jeremy, what is the circumference of a moose? Canadian moose, not the North American type. The Canadian moose, what is the circumference? Please leave your answer in the comments below. All right, so moving on.
Let's let that be a running joke.
That will be.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the running speed of the moose? Yes. God, I'm off on a tangent on that. I could talk about this forever. So, lots of things going on. Lots of things going on. Let's go ahead and jump back to the ship. And I think it is time to roll some initiative. Does that sound like a winner? All right. Let's get this going here. And we're going to share that screen. Yes, we are. Thank you, Zoom. Appreciate the hell out of you. All right. I want to make sure that my sound is the way I want it. Yeah, I believe my right sound is on. Correct. Cool. Okay. Let's go ahead and get up here where we need to be. Turn up just touch. Okay. All right. So, let's go ahead and have everybody roll initiative. And I am not including Brahmas and Mirk in the rolling of initiative here. Okay, can everybody see the map okay? Okay, you can hear the music, but it's not overpowering our voices, correct?
Yes.
Alright, if it gets too loud, someone just let me know. Alright. So, everybody go ahead and roll your initiative. Remember, it's your proficiency bonus, plus any skill points you might have on the foresight skill, plus what you're planning on doing on your turn. If you're attacking with strength, then it's your strength bonus. You're attacking with dex, it's your dex bonus. You're casting a spell, it's your spell casting modifier. So initiative changes depending on what you're trying to do on your turn. Once you get that figured out, roll your 20 and add it up. I'll start asking what your guys' numbers are. Okay? So, first up, Bastille. Tell me something good, sir.
34.
34. Okay. So Valdara. 18. Okay, for Brahmas, we don't know yet. For Kiltusk, what you got, buddy?
23.
Good initiative. Jeremy, I'll let you roll for Silouan. 1d20 and a 1d8, or unless you know what she has. If not, that's fine.
I don't recall right off, but I got a 9.
1d20 and a 1d8 both, and you got a 9? Rachel, we're sorry. We're so sorry. Okay.
Well, she did fall out of the net and kind of just
that's
roll,
true.
So.
That's true. She's like, what? Huh? Right on. So, Celine, what you got?
32.
32. Danny's got some competition. All right. Drayden, what you got, big dog? Ooh.
So real quick, at what point do you roll an initiative so high that you just get 2 turns? I feel like 32 is getting there.
If a person rolls, yeah, less than half of that, then there you go. Okay, and now I'm going to roll some bad guy stuff real quick. Go ahead and everybody else roll me a 1d20 and a 1d4. And I'm going to go around and ask you guys what you got. Okay. I'm going to start with you, Danny. What'd you get on your rolls?
16.
Okay. Jeremy, what'd you get on yours?
6.
Okay. Roll me a 1d20 and a 1d4 Colby, tell me what you get.
11.
Nice. Do it again, Danny.
14.
Jeremy.
Ten.
Okay. And I got the last two rolls. Just a minute. Okay. So I don't know if it comes as a shock to anyone, but it would be Bastille's turn first. Bastille, talk to me, buddy. What are you thinking about doing here? I'm going to zoom in on you so you can see it. You come up out there of Valdara. You cast the I'm a pussy and I need to make sure I heal myself up spell.
I also cast his new mirror image when I was downstairs.
Okay. Give me a dexterity check just for the hell with to see how you're, or an spellcraft. Do me a 1d20 plus your spell saving modifier. See how you do with that.
That would have been a 18.
Okay, I'll give it to you. Since you were taking your time getting up there and whatnot. Celine, I'm going to give you an action that supersedes everybody else because you got up there so quick. And then it will be it'll be Danny's turn. So you'll be first, then we'll start the true initiative. So let me get Danny figured out here real quick, then I'll ask you what you want to do. Bast casts mirror image on himself, but a newer version of it, as several different duplicates of Bastille come into view. Nicely done, sir. Valdara's seen this before. Okay. So, with that, Sean, what is Celine thinking about doing? Since you were out here so quickly and got the upper hand on this, you were the first one that saw him coming. What are you thinking about doing?
Celine's eyes narrow toward these creatures, and she attempts to use insightful fighting to gain advantage on these creatures.
Okay, so you're going to gain advantage on the creatures. What does that cost you? And explain to me how it works.
So insightful fighting, I make an insight check against a creature's deception check. If I succeed, then I get advantage on that creature. Well, not advantage. I can use sneak attack on that creature with even if I don't have advantage.
Okay, and which one of these creatures here would you like to do this to, or do you want to look out?
The first one I can see.
I'm going to say it's going to be this one here. Okay, that'd be number 2. So I'm going to roll a DC check for it, and you're going to roll an insight check, and whoever wins.
Mm-hmm.
That's intelligence, correct?
Yeah, you got to make a deception check.
So that's charisma?
Yes.
Ooh. With a -1, it's still an 18.
Okay, that is 25.
You win. You're more charismatic than a Merrow. Congratulations. Look at that face. Oh, come on. How do you get mad? How do you stay mad? So now that you have that, you're going to have advantage on it on your turn, correct?
I just get to use sneak attack against it.
Okay.
Every turn.
Okay. Let's see that, sir.
So do I get to attack?
I believe so. Just a minute here. I'm just going to... let's see here. Four. 2. Okay, did you make your attacks?
No, okay, I'll just make one with Duncan's. Just he pulls out a crossbow. And she
Okay.
rolls an attack with that, which gets +11. So that's a total of 16 to hit.
16. Just hits this one in particularly.
Okay, so it does its damage. This is a regular crossbow bolt, so 1d6 plus 8. I'm going to add my weapon special D4 to the damage, and then sneak attack is 2d6 at this point, or 3d6?
Depends on how many levels of rogue you have.
I'm only a level 3 rogue.
I think it's 2.
2d6, okay. 5 plus 3, so that's 8. So that's 10 damage total. It's not a very effective shot, but yeah. That's 10 damage total.
Okay, and you're
Piercing
using a
damage.
regular arrow on that one?
Yeah.
Okay, so 10 sneak attack damage on the creature. Okay, what are you doing for your second attack, sir?
Just firing off another shot, just a regular shot.
Okay, go ahead and roll, please.
So that is a 17.
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit, boss. What was your roll?
It's a 17 to hit.
17 hits. Does not breach, but it hits.
And then that's just 6 piercing damage.
Okay.
Or that's it. Well, no, not 6. Sorry. 6 plus 8. Sorry, I forgot to add 8. That's 12 piercing damage.
Okay, did you add your 8 to the last one, boss?
I did not, so that would be 18.
Okay, 10 plus 8 is 18. Okay. All right, so you see that your arrows are actually penetrating the shells in the different mollusk kind of armor that these things have created, and the different wrappings that are around them. They're able to break through it and find purchase. So your damage of your arrows is enough to go through them and hurt them. Now, it's still less than it would have been, but it is working. As Celine looks over the end and fires off 2 of those crossbow bolts. Both of them hit and cause damage. I want to roll with that. This Merrow number 2 loses its grip on the side of the ship from taking the 2 shots and is now in the water. It falls over the edge and splashes. I'm going to dull it down to reflect that. Is that good with everybody? So that means it's in the distance. Okay? Celine, you have your movement. And whatever else you have. What's the next step here?
Celine is just going to back up about 10 or so feet.
Okay. And I have a grid if we need to use it. So let's go ahead and back you up 10 feet. Is this okay?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and bring out, is Isadora by your side or still over the side of the ship?
Isadora would eventually fly to me.
She would have flown to you. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and bring her into this equation. As there is your dark, necrotic looking bird that has images of it behind it, and its shadow is there. And Isadora is flying by your side currently, about 10 foot up in the air. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Okay. That'll be 10 foot right by your side. I like it, man. Okay, is that end your turn, sir?
Yep.
Okay. The next person on the initiative list it was a pretty good roll. It was Bastille. Yep, you're number 1 actually. So go ahead, Bast.
All right. Let me see the 3D.
Oh, yes. So we have 3D maps over here. So you can see what part of the ship you're on. Now here, it looks fairly linear. and you can't make out the fact that this is a major step up. This is a major step down. This is the cargo bay where you and Valdara did the fight earlier. You also have... Just a minute, sorry. This back of the ship is actually about 10 foot higher than the rest of the ship. Let's move over here. Here is the first view of the dimensions of the ship. This is actually a 3D view of the side. So Brahmas is going to be standing up here in the front of the ship looking out. Silhouin, let's go. I got another 3D image, might be a little bit better. There we go. I like this one a lot. Silhouin's going to be resting in these ropes right here, in her hammock as she falls out. Celine, you were right here, and the Merrows were climbing up, and these were the little hatches from the cannons that hang out underneath the ship that you saw right below you. It was climbing, hanging on to one of those. And for our sake, because we don't have a bunch of cannons on the Lilung, we're going to say these are the portal windows. Okay? Because imagination, everybody. Here in the very back was Drayden and Caliban. And then Valdara and Bast just came out of these doors here because the cabin and all that stuff was down in the belly of this and are standing currently right here. You're coming down a fairly steep bank, Kiltusk, because the part in the trees is right here, and you're running down this direction when we go to your map, okay? All right. As morning is starting to give way, and there's a little bit of light, I'm going to lighten this up just a little bit. There you go. As lightning is flashing constantly in the background. Okay, so now, Bastille, you have mirror image cast upon yourself. You have several different images swirling around. I'd like for you to make sure to write down and keep track of what gets hit and what does not, okay?
Okay. So, right now, nothing's on the deck.
Nothing's on the deck yet. These two are still climbing up, and they've not reached or hanging on to these flaps like we discussed.
Hmm. Let me think. Because it's going to be a bad idea for him to bail off the side and hit one of them with his signature move, because then he's going to end up in the water with them.
Hey, there are no bad ideas when you're Bastille. Come on, buddy. Come on.
And I wish I'd cast that earlier instead. It would have been real handy.
Well, you know, you already had time to cast 2 spells. If you can't get it right yet, I don't know what to do with you, sir.
Yeah. So, quick insight check. Will they make the deck in this round?
I'll give you that insight check, but that gets rid of your free action on your turn.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll.
Insight would be... Insight. Oh, it's only wisdom, so... Proficient plus 6. 21.
Yes. They will be up here for meet and greets and wanting to have their signatures taken next round.
Guys, a wild rock and just appeared across the
Okay,
screen.
then I'm going to Misty Step.
Of course you are.
Using the bonus action. How far up is the crow's nest? Or actually, how far where I could... Yeah, the crow's nest will be fine.
30 foot.
30 foot? All right, Misty Step to there.
Okay. Let me go ahead and do that for you here, buddy boy. So, having said that, we're just going to do it like this. I'm going to move you to where you're over top of it. And once again, imagination. You are in the crow's nest. It kind of looks like you are.
All right, so... I've actually never done this, so this is going to be weird with these daggers. Actually, the way it times out, I think, just how quickly do they come back if he throws them? I know that like he gets them back but I mean, to do multiple attacks with the same daggers, is that possible, or is it?
No, it would be the travel time. It would take too long. You would throw them and then they come back to you, but you couldn't do that 3 times. No.
All right then.
Now, if you were standing really close to something, throwing them
Yeah.
5 foot, you could you know. But
That's kind of what I
the
figured.
traveling time, you know.
So he's going to throw standard daggers this time.
Hey, throw your B teams at him. Go ahead.
Right. So when he
Wait,
leveled up,
and by him you mean which one of the several?
number 3 will be the closest.
Number 3. How immersive! I want to throw him at the one that has the big number 3 stamped on it, Brian. No problem.
So
I can only do so much, Jeremy. I can only do so much, buddy.
I'm going to throw.
What's he doing crawling up here with a neon sign
I now
over his
have
head?
7
No
every
shit.
2.
And are you throwing dagger number 4 or number 5? Which one, Danny?
Nice. All right. So
All
with
right.
that, I'm going to make the first one a called shot. How much of him can I see?
Now hold on. Now, whoa, whoa, whoa! Pump your brakes, young man. I have a lot of faith in you, but you can't. Did you already roll the attack and then decide to make it a called shot?
No, I haven't rolled.
Okay, I was like, I'm gonna call bullshit on you. You're crossing the streams, and that would be bad. So go ahead and you want to make a called shot. And what was the question?
You know what? Instead of making multiple attacks, scratch that. I am going to throw one of my good daggers with a single called shot. Putting everything into it. He gets 7 every 2, but it doesn't matter for this. He's doing
I want to say this. Last thing I'm going to throw at you. You couldn't see them from where you were at originally because they were on the side of the ship climbing up. So you went to the crow's nest. You got a view, but they have partial cover. They're not completely exposed. Can you understand why I'm saying that?
Yep. So what can I see?
You can see the head and shoulders.
All right, then.
Dandruff shampoo, baby. Jeremy's like, I thought you were going there. Yeah.
How far?
Well, I just got this handy dandy grid. Let's just decide how far it is. You're 30 foot up. So 5, 10, 15, 20. 20 foot down at 30 foot up. So I'm going to say,
About 35, 40 feet.
I'd say 40 to 45 foot. You can
Alright.
throw him 60. It's within range, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Here we go. I'm going to make a called shot then.
To the left or right nostril. Which one?
With that, I'll go with the left eye.
The left eye. Little Lopez, left eye Lopez action going on. Okay, go ahead to number 3. He's going. "Brrr!"
And I'm also going to add the weapon specialization in for a 1d4 on top of this attack roll.
And because why wouldn't you? Because why wouldn't you? You know.
And because of his previous assassin feat, he gets advantage because nothing's taken a roll in the round yet. So
Well, you know, they don't see where you went to. You misty stepped, so I'll give you that, boss. You poofed and reappeared like a magician.
18 plus 4 is 22, plus his 16 is 38 to hit the
Yeah.
eyeball.
You're good. Okay. So if any of you have a chance to learn the called shot feats or look at them, there's a chart that lets you use a call to do called shots, and you're able to get more specific ones the higher version of the feat that you learn. To do that eyeball, he had a -10 on his shot just now, and he can only try that once per turn. So I'd take the armor class breach, add 10 to it, but 36 gets it. So, Danny, go ahead and roll and tell me what the potential effects are.
Okay, so for the potential effects, and because I'm an expert, I get the ability to re-roll my outcome once.
Yes?
All right. Vital organ damage. Makes sense. It's an eyeball.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Go ahead and roll your damage, and let's see if he survives enough to be hurt by this.
All right. So the dagger would be 6, and because he is from concealment, all that, it's also a sneak attack.
Yes.
And surprised, which will make it critical as well. 6.
Mhm.
So the dagger 6, and then 5d6.
I love his tragic music as the Merrow's getting ready to just
23.
get a watery grave, you know?
23 plus the 3d6 for the called shots. 8, 23, 22, 35. 70 points of damage to the eyeball plus his 6 damage. So 76
Now,
points of
76. Now, if you're saying that you're doing all that to just the eyeball, then it's going to survive, but the eye is going to die. Is that fair?
Well, it would go.
I mean, let's just be honest. Danny.
Vital organ damage. This inflicts heavy lethal internal bleeding damage. 1d6 per called shot skill level. Per
So you're
turn.
saying you tickled his brain. That's what we're saying. Let me roll something here.
Brain cavity to him.
Yeah. No. Paint me a picture, sir.
I would say that celestial dagger explodes out the back like a bow hunter's pass through.
I like it. So with that, as he chucks this dagger with extraordinary speed from a surprise location, Bastille throws this thing. It comes out just straight like a jet stream. Hits this sucker right in the soft eye, surpassing the scales and all the different bone structure that could have slowed this dagger down. And as it does, there's a poof of this dark blue colored blood that flies out of the back from behind the fin as the creature just looks up in the air for a minute, and you can hear the hands just lose and release, and then a large splash in the water as number 3 has been slain. Okay, Danny, what you got?
He'll hold position there.
Okay.
I used up my entire round for that type of called shot.
Yeah. When you do a specific called shot, it takes your entire turn to do one. It's like aiming a bow for a few seconds before you close, or aiming a gun, things like that. The next person to go is going to be Celine again. She had a surprise round, and then she had second and roll an initiative. Well done, young lady.
Celine is actually going to hold her action till an enemy gets within melee range of her.
Okay, and your melee range is just 5 foot? Or are you talking about crossbow range, or what are you doing?
Well, 5 feet.
5 foot. Okay, I will do that.
Well, she have her step forward like 5 feet too. So it's like obvious that she's the first one there.
Okay, just a moment. I will do that for you. There you go. All right. Anything within 5 foot of you, and it will be your action. I'm going to put down holding action. And kind of watch here when you're done cooking, or mommy, or the rest of you. If something happens, I'm juggling a lot right now. All right. So, number 3 on our initiative list is going to be Drayden, which is my character. Colby, let me go ahead and explain to you what this is. Just 1 second here. Let me write a note down. So on this ship is a lion Felidae monk. A Felidae is a cat person. Okay? And they are thin built, with wide shoulders, and they almost look like they work themselves a little bit too hard. They have bracers around their forearms and their shins, and all of his hair is done up in long dreads that are pulled down his back into ponytails, about 3 of them that hang down. He has 2 large dreads that hang out in front of his ears, and he has a tusk of chin hair of the lion that's done into a small braid on the front. He wears a vest that is made of the scavenged parts of trophies he's taken from people that he's beat in the gladiatorial ring when he was younger. And he wears it, and he's trying to learn from that. It has been tailored and looks a little bit more sophisticated and less barbaric than it did when he was a young man. But he is a very soft-spoken, whispered, as if he has hurt his throat from roaring too much. It is almost damaged. And that is Drayden, the Lion Felidae monk. And it will be his turn to go. Okay, first I'm going to do a perception check and see if I can see what all's going on around here. Caliban's going to help me with advantage on that. and I can. So, Caliban decides he's going to break behind me, and he's going to go over to this side and check out the side of the ship. And as I'm doing that, I see the image of 2 more climbing up out of the water on this side of the ship as well. Go ahead and bring those into focus. Alright. So, Drayden is going to make a dash that way, and he is going to... let's see the grid. Let's see how far this is, because he doesn't really know how to be safe here. Let's see... Drayden, what are you doing? 5, 10, 15. It's jumping down the first flight. We know that's kind of high from the 3D map. Acrobatics check is successful. 20, 25. Okay, from this point, at 25 feet, I am going to... Yeah, I think I am. I don't do this very often, but Drayden has the ability to throw attacks by using key points. He can throw them up to this bonus distance, and he can move in speed. So right now he can throw things up to almost 20 foot further by normal attacking by using a chi point to extend himself. I'm going to try to knock these things down off of the ship. So, I'm going to use... Or, no, I'm going to do a kick and just... Oh, no, I don't want to be in the water for these things. They're going to knock a hell out of me if I get in the water. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that. For the first attack, I'm going to jump up in the air for the remaining of my feet, which is 10 more this way. As he jumps up, he's going to come back down, and he's going to throw a fist attack at number 7. Now, I'm taking into mind here, Colby, that these things are climbing up the side of a ship, so they don't have weapon defense added on to their stuff now, because they can't defend themselves with their hands. They're climbing. Okay? Which is why I do an armor class the way we do, is super smart. Okay? That is a hit. It does not breach, but that is a hit. Let me go ahead and roll damage for this. That is 16 points of damage to number 7. And then I am going to go ahead and hit it again. And I'm going to use a 1d4 to see if I can turn this into a crit. And I do. 20s. Let's go roll this shit here. Oh, come on, that sucks. Come on. There we go. 14, 21. And that is on number 7, I said. 21. Okay, I'm going to roll a check. Constitution. And although it is on death's door and took 2 good hits, this thing seems to be clinging on barely to the side of the ship. As he has thrown 2 blasts of force energy. It's interesting looking because as it passes over him, you see the rain part as it's just like almost like wind flying from his hands and hitting onto number 7. Okay. With that, that's going to be the end of Drayden's turn. He is going to use his bonus action. Well, yeah, to begin a stance. At the top of this, and it seems like his movement is reduced, but he's beginning some kind of martial arts stance. What kind? No one knows. Alright, with that, the next person in the initiative order is going to be, I'm looking for number 4, Kiltusk. Let's do this, buddy. So, you're down here. Now, your creature has a speed of 60 feet normally. That's not even dashing. That's just its normal movement speed, which is awesome. It giddy ups, like really nice. Okay? So, I don't know if you've been thinking about some things you want to do on the break, but you have this large rock out here in front of you. You have this steep beach going downhill. It's hard to see through all the rain and fog as it would be in this game right now. Do you have a plan on where it is you would like to go? You see these two coming up the side of the ship that this lion creature seems to be fighting. That's on your side of the ship.
Okay.
Okay? And they are quite a ways off. But you can start heading in that direction, and with your bow and arrow, you can pick them off from the shoreline pretty good, sir. But that is one of hundreds of options. What would you like to do for your first turn with us, bud?
Okay, so I'm riding Loki, right?
Yes, you are.
I want to ride Loki maybe 20 feet from the rock in front of me, like in front of the rock.
Okay. Got just a minute. Okay, just a minute here. So 5, 10. 10 foot's going to put you at the rock.
Yeah, and I want to be in front of the rock.
Okay. 15, 20. There's 25 foot. You are in front of the rock.
Okay. Now, how far is number 6 away from me?
Let you know in just 1 second, boss. Okay. Number 6 is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70 foot. That is definitely within range of your bow, and some spells are range of 60. It all just depends. You've only used 25 foot of your movement so far.
Okay. What is the range? What is the range of my great bow?
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was like 150 feet was average range, and short range was 75, which is what this is. And you also have the point blank shot feat, so you can shoot shit that's 5 and 10 foot away from you too. So this would be within half of the full range of that bow. This is going to be no minuses to hit at this range.
Okay, so at this range, will I be able to do the dual shot?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so then I want to do that.
Okay, would you like to rage before you do that, or are you just doing it under normal circumstances, or are you using heightened awareness? Are you raging? And remind yourself that that's when it gives you that +2 to your attacks. And then if you want to go relentless, then you're rolling your damage with your bow with advantage. And what happens is, but they have advantage against you. Now, being up here and away from them, that's not a bad call with the bow. But it's also, if you want to save it for something later, you have, I think, 4 rages a day right now. So, and they last for a full minute.
Yeah, I'm going to use heightened awareness to make sure I can get this shot off more cleanly.
Okay, so, do you want to describe to everybody what that looks like, Connor, or do you want me to narrate for you?
Yeah, you can narrate that for me.
Okay. So, as he's back there in the distance, he seems to take just a second, and as he takes a deep breath and closes his eyes, he opens them up, and he has a wild look across his face. Extra creases have started, and his physicality seems to change. As his shoulders broaden, you can hear bones crack. It's almost like he's physically transforming. As his neck reaches out and he looks forward a little bit, ignoring the rain and all the danger around him, he hears nothing but the heartbeat of the people on that ship. And as he pulls his bow back and takes a calmness over himself, everything seems like it moves at half a step slower than what it does to everybody else. As he is hyper-focused, it is the way that this version of a barbarian works. Instead of having a relentless rage, they go into this deep, channeled state. And that is what he is entering right now. As the creature beneath him, Loki, his Allosaurus steed, seems to effortlessly move around, understanding what his master wants him to do, as he pulls the bow back on the back, drawing back 2 arrows at the same time. Go ahead and roll. And you doing, you want to do 1 arrow in each one of those guys, or you shooting 2 into number 6? Because these are within 5 foot of each other, so you can do 1 attack and hit 2 creatures with this feat. Or you can sink them both into number 6, up to you.
I guess to help out, Bill, I forget what his name was.
Drayden.
Drayden. I will just sink them both into number 6.
Okay, go ahead and you're only rolling. You read the feat and go through the rolls.
Okay, so
Okay.
successful DC of 15 saving throw of dexterity.
Mm-hmm.
And if successful, your character makes 2 attack rolls and must divide their damage bonuses between 2 shots, equally rounding up if it succeeds.
Okay.
And if you target the same creature with both arrows, a successful damage throw, a successful dexterity save, in addition to both attack rolls being successful, results in the damage being combined into 1 damaging strike.
Right. So first you're doing a dexterity, and you've got to be a DC of what? 15 to be able to do this shot. Let's go ahead and roll your dexterity saving throw. Remember, you have proficiency in dexterity, and right now, since you're in this heightened awareness, I think you get even a bigger bonus to it as well.
Yes, I have an advantage on dexterity checks and dexterity saving throws.
Yes, you do. So now that you're heightened aware, which these things work together like peanut butter and jelly. So you roll your 2d20, pick your highest one, and add your proficiency bonus and your dexterity modifier to it. Tell me what you get.
Well, I just got a natural 20 on for the advantage roll.
Hell yes, you did. All right, man. So that means you're getting the best version of this. Good job. Okay, you crushed the DC. Let's go ahead and start doing attack rolls.
That'll be a D10.
Well, you got to do your attack rolls, a D20 first, remember?
Yeah.
You got to do 2 of them. 1 D20 plus, and I believe in your case it's 11 normally. And then since you are raging, it's plus 2, which is 13.
Yeah.
So you're doing 1 D20 plus 13 each.
Okay. So first roll my D20 for that is a 23. No,
That
25.
is a breaching hit. That does damage straight to it. And go ahead and roll your second one just so we know what you got.
Second one was a 20.
Okay, that's not, but you could use weapon specialization. Add a 1d4 to it once per turn and see if that helps you out.
Yeah, I'll see if that can help me out.
Go ahead and roll 1d4 and add to your 20.
21.
Nope, it hits, but it doesn't breach it.
Okay.
So you've got 1 hit, and we're going to say that you're breaching one, the one that was a good one. We're going to put on the one that was fighting Drayden here. And your one that didn't breach is going to hit number 6. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay, go ahead and roll your damage for each one of these.
That's the 10. Okay, so I'm looking at attack bonuses, right?
This is damage bonus. It's 1d10 plus damage bonus. And it
Okay.
should be at the very end on the right
Yeah.
where your weapons are. You follow that all the way to the right, and it'll have it totaled up there for you.
Okay, yeah, so that's a 1d10 plus 6.
Uh-huh.
So I have 14.
Okay. 14 was on the one that you breached. That's a very, very hard hit on that one, number 7. And it is now dead. That's the one Danny had, or Drayden had knocked down. So paint me a picture. What's it look like?
So this one, when I release both arrows, one hits number 7 in the back of the head because he is focused on Drayden,
Correct.
not knowing I was behind them and coming at him, and then fired a bow. And so he would, and I can see that it stinks and kills him, and he loosens his grip fully and falls into the water, kind of like a ragdoll.
I like it. And number 7 fades. It's done as Drayden looks up and sees arrows coming from the shoreline. And you just reminded me of something, my friend. These don't know you're back there in this rain, so you have advantage on your attack rolls because of surprise here too.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll me another 1d20, because you end up with 21 on this one, but these things can't hear or see you. You're so far away, and they're climbing up a ship fighting a lion cat. So
So what am I adding with this d20, or am I just rolling it right?
you're just rolling a d20 again and seeing if you get higher this time on it.
Okay. Oh, I got a 3.
Okay, so stick with the original one. So you hit this one. Go ahead and roll your 1d10 plus your 6 and tell me what your damage is on this one.
This one is a 4 plus 6, so it's a 10.
Nicely done. Okay, now that's just, you use your bonus action to go into heightened awareness. You've used one attack to pull off your dual shot feat. You can only do it once a turn. You have one more attack on your turn. What would you like to do with it?
I guess this time I'll just fire one arrow at him.
Okay.
And see if I can actually breach it this time.
Okay, you know what? If you're trying to breach through it this time, do your overdraw shot.
Do my overdraw?
Yep.
Okay. So
It's a strength check. And you have to do... Oh, no, you got to use your bonus action to do that. And you already did to go heightened awareness. You can't on this turn. So go ahead and do your normal shot.
Okay. So this is plus dexterity, right?
Yep. It's a 1d20 plus 11 plus 2 more because you're heightened awareness, which is a total of 13.
Okay, so I end up
You have
having
advantage because he can't see you.
Okay, so okay, yes. My first roll because I had advantage was a 19, and this time I got a 3. So the 19 would be 32.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a breaching hit. That is a home run, sir. Go ahead and roll your damage. And 19s in our rules are a damage and a half roll. So your 1d10, roll it and add half to it.
Okay. Okay. So am I also adding the 6 as well?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I end up getting a total of 15.
15. This creature is bloodied. I'm going to do a check to see if it's able to hold on to the side of the ship. Okay. And with a natural 20, it's not going anywhere. It looks back and it's shouting out something. Ah! Right? It's got this arrow sticking in its shoulder, and 2 of them now, and it doesn't know where they're coming from. It's looking through this low-lying fog and stuff in the heavy rain, and it cannot see where these shots are coming from as you're back here standing by this rock shooting over the bank at it. That's your attacks. You've used 25 foot of your movement. You still have 35 foot of movement while you're on this creature. Are you wanting to move or you want to stay there?
I'll hold my position right there.
Okay. Your position is held, sir. Good turn. All right. That we are more than happy to help you through stuff like that. It'll become more fluid the more you play. It just takes a little foresight and some repetitions. You're doing fine, sir. Okay, so number 4, number 5 to go is going to be Valdara. I'll make it short and sweet to get back to the people that matter. You all. So, Valdara, up on the ship, sees the arrows coming through. Thump, thump, just blasting on shit. Celine, what is it that you shouted out earlier? Did you shout out that you saw something off in the distance, or what did you yell? I can't remember.
I just yelled that there are creatures on the side of the ship.
Okay. Caliban, it's not his initiative yet, so I wouldn't see him running this way. I am going to see... I'm going to say... Drayden says over... Help the others. I've got this. As he says that, Valdara turns and heads over to where Celine is at. Okay. As she does, this one's number 1. Let me see how far up the... he's coming up pretty soon. He's climbing up there, but not quite. I'm going to roll a roll. Jeremy, a 1d20. 1 through 10, I can swing over the side and reach this guy. 11 through 20, and he's too far down for me to reach with my greatsword.
14.
Cannot reach him with the greatsword. So, I'm going to pull out... I don't want to do that because I'm afraid it will get stuck and go down with it. I have this great avian lance that I use sometimes, but I don't like using it unless I absolutely have to. Let's go ahead and just say that I used how many feet of movement to get here? Let's look at it here. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay, that's going to be 35. It's going to be my movement. Let me look through here real quick and see if there's something special I want to try to pull off, okay? Only take me a moment. Talk amongst yourselves. Let's do, I can't do that yet. No, I'm in the wrong page. Okay, yeah, let's do, Blade of Wrath. Okay, I'm going to use my bonus action, and I'm going to invoke the Blade of Wrath. As she draws her sword over top of her head and roars in range, almost like a chimera roaring out. You're going to see her shoulders widen a little bit and veins pop out of the sides of her neck, as she will have the strength of a large-sized creature for the next 1d4 turns. Which ends up being 2 turns. 2 turns. Plus 1d6 the damage. Okay. And for her action, I am going to try to cling on to a rope and try to tie it around my person so I can swing around there and start swinging these suckers like a swashbuckler. So I'm going to look around for rope and see if there's something I can adhere to myself. And Jeremy, 1 through 10, I find something within 5 foot of me. 11 through 20, and stuff is 10 foot away from me and I can find rope.
9.
A 10? Okay, 1 through 10, a 9. Okay, I have something close. We do a dexterity check, see how it looks. Very good roll. I tie off rope around me, and I pull my blade back, getting ready to descend and do some damage. That will be my turn. Okay, let's go to number 6. Who is number 6? Merrow. Let me see here. Number 6. Okay. It's the one that you shot in the back over here. Okay, I am going to use the rest of my movement to get this sucker up on top of the ship. Okay. And as I do that, I am in the area of the stance of Drayden. But he's used his turn. He can't do anything else right now. And it is going to attack with a poisoned spear. Twice. 13. It misses the first time as he's able to slap the thing to the side. It does not find purchase on him. With his reaction, he's going to counterstrike that, which hits. I've used my reaction. That is going to be, ew, that sucks. 15 points of damage on number 6. 10, 20, 30, 35, 40. That is enough to finish that one off. As it comes at me with the poison spear and comes straight at me, he slaps it off to the side and comes back and just hits this sucker hard. I actually rolled a natural 18 on it. As he does, it goes flopping across, lands on the railing, and slides over, leaving a little bit of allergene stuff on the handle rail. As it tries to cling on for just a minute, you see the webbed fingers as it slips off, and shortly after that you hear a splash. It's number 6 is defeated. Alright, so now we're moving on to the next one. Let's see. Okay, let's go ahead and go with... It's messing me up because people are dying. I'm having to redo my order. Try Merrow number 4. I think you're still alive, aren't you? Yes. So, 4 up on the deck. And let me see, number 5. Is it going next too? Sure. 5 up on the deck. This one blows on a seashell horn, number 4. This seems to emit a sound around it. As it does, I'm going to create an effect here real quick. And it's going to be number 4. Let me go ahead and do my airbrush. Let me go ahead and do my... let's go here with it. Just 1 second, guys. Aquila. Let's go ahead and do a new layer. I like it. Let's put that underneath the other 2. And then let's do this. As a swirling wall of water forms around the feet of that one. Looks pretty good for pretty quick stuff, doesn't it? Looks like water texture. I like it. And that's one thing I like about doing this freehand. Okay? So, as he summons up the water to around him, number 5 moves in beside him to seek the protection of it as well. And will throw spears. One's going at Drayden, and one's going at Caliban. Okay, the one for Drayden had an 11, and the problem is it has advantage because he didn't see him over there. That's 16, 26. That hits. And that damage for that is going to be 7. And Drayden failed his Constitution saving throw, so it's an extra 6 of poison. 12 points of damage to Drayden. And now the next one is going to throw his stuff at Caliban. Okay, let's see how this goes. Misses both times, a 4 and a 5. 2 poison-tipped spears go flying over Caliban as they fly out over the bow of the ship and do not find purchase on the other Earth Genasi monk. Okay, with that...
Sorry to
Go
interrupt.
ahead.
You said Drayden is poisoned?
Yes,
Or
he
just-
is. He is poisoned. Okay.
well,
Go ahead. Was somebody saying something? Okay, so let's go ahead and see here. So 4 and 5 have went. 4 and 5. You are dead. This one's dead. Merrow number 7 is dead. Okay, let's see where we're at now on our stuff. Let's see where number 1 and 2 are. 1 is still hanging on. 2 is dead. Okay. Number 1 is going to finish climbing up and attack Valdara. Okay, so as it gets up on top of the ship, it is going to go ahead and invoke the same water effect that the other one has. What's great about it is I can copy it. So that one is number, what was this, number 4? Do this real quick. That's it right there. Layer. Copy layer. Okay. Let's do this and move it. Okay. And we're going to move that right there. I like it. Okay, and let me move that, and that is number 1, correct? Yes. And we're there. Okay. So now, Valdara, because she is in range of this, is going to have to do a strength saving throw. It's strength for this right here. Which she only gets a 7, but she gets 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, okay. Danny, roll me the DC for this rushing water. It's going to be a 1d20 and a 1d6, and tell me what I get. What the creature gets versus me.
It's a 25 with a natural 20.
Damn. So I am restrained by the water. Okay? And because of my constitution check, and Danny, you know Valdara's natural fear of this. Okay? Because of doing a 17, I have 4 turns to be able to break this and combat it, or else she drowns. She is grappled by the water, and it moves from it, and it goes over to her. And she is stuck there beside it now, cannot move, as this water is wrapping around and embracing her, and she's fighting it, and she's swinging her sword, but she can't seem to get out of it. This is twisting around her. Right now, she is going to take 9 points of damage. And she is restrained. Okay. Now let's look and see who's left to go. Just a minute. Number 1 was knocked down. He's going to take his turn to get back up. Let's go ahead and go over to something in the distance. From the distance, you hear a long bellow of a horn call out. It breaks through the rain and makes this long, high-pitched sound, much more high-pitched than you would think. It almost sounds like some kind of sea creature. like a war cry of some kind. And as this sound bellows out, I would like everybody on the ship to roll me a wisdom saving throw. Danny, how'd you do?
21. For a second, I was worried, but the 12 and 19 look close.
Oh my God. Oh shit. Okay, didn't expect that. Hold on, buddy. If that's a 4, I'm gonna fuck it. Oh my gosh. Okay. You rolled a what?
19.
19 total. Okay. That's a fail. Yeah. Jeremy, roll for Silhouette.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm proficient in wisdom. That would be a 19 plus 6. Whew.
Oh, you think you still
That's
passed, don't you?
It'd be awesome if I did.
Uh-huh. Well, you did. Okay, for Silhouette, Jeremy, what'd she get?
19.
Silhouette fails. You take 10 points of sonic damage, and she is dazed. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on to Celine. What did you get? You are muted, Sean.
At 21.
21 does not succeed. You also take... How much damage was that again, Jeremy? It's 10. 10 points of damage, and you are dazed. Let me write this down for you. Dazed. Okay, let's go ahead. Kiltusk, this does not reach you. Let's go to Valdara. Natural 6 fails. Damn it. Minus 10. Dazed. And restrained. Damn. Who else we got? Let's go to Drayden and Caliban. Drayden, natural 5 fails. 10. Dazed. And then lastly but not leastly, Caliban passes. Natural 19. Pass.
Remind me what day's status does again?
It gives you disadvantage on attack rolls and damage rolls, and your speed is reduced to half until the end of your next turn. Okay. So, and with that, off in the distance, the big bad moves up a little bit as it rides the shadow waves and stays about 35 to 40 foot off the side of the ship. And this is what you see. As it's still too dark to make out all the details of the creature, as it's still silhouetted with the long shadow of its body as it seems to be riding on a wave up above the water, as a crash of lightning goes by for just a moment, you're able to see the full image of the creature for just a second, as it crashes and falls into shadow again as the lightning dies off. Now, it is Silhouette's turn. Jeremy, what do you think Silhouette would like to do in this moment as she's been startled awake and just was hit and hurt by this, and now she is dazed, standing up on the very front of the ship, She would see Valdara stuck in water, possibly. She would have heard the cry come out from this creature, as she has very sensitive hearing and good seeing, even in this kind of condition. She would see the two on the back of the ship. What are you thinking, boss?
I would think that if she sees, between the big thing crying and then the thing over there with the whirlpool and Valdara, she's gonna go to the side of the ship. As a matter of fact, as she's heading over that way, because it looks like she's got to go down to get over that way.
Yes.
She's gonna go to the edge of that and vault off.
Okay, so let me go ahead and go to her. Let's go to Silowin. Alright, which direction you want to move here, boss? Direct me. I'm going to say you're starting here.
She's gonna go right over there to where number 1 is.
Okay, 5, 10, 15. And we're going to say that's a vault that's like a 10-foot drop, right?
Yep. So I'd say it's her normal vault plus 10 foot. I think her normal vault's 40.
Okay.
So 50-foot drop.
Let's do it. And that's good. That's half her movement because she is dazed. So that's about right for her to get over there and do that. All right. So let's say that your vault can only go up half as far because of the dazed condition. Now, normally she can go 30 foot, right?
40 at her level.
40, I'll give you 20. Is that fair? Okay, so let's go ahead and bring out the big guns. Silowin's Lance. Would you like to do a Gale Force or Gale Descent on this?
She's pouring everything she's got into knocking that thing out.
And that's going to be the Descent, I would have to say. As the dragon spirit comes over you, Silowin bounds into the air, jumping up high, almost getting outside the fog, as she comes down with a vicious strike on top of the creature and dives into the water, fearless in it. Go ahead and roll me an attack roll, Jeremy. Do you know how her bonuses and stuff work?
I know she's got a +9, I think, to her.
And she's got weapon specialist, and she's doing the lancing and all that stuff. Plus, this thing is in the middle of a spear, so if you hit this, it could possibly break concentration and save Valdara in the process, which is fantastic.
So I rolled a natural 19.
So you did?
And I'm going to have her use one of her D4s to make that a 20 as a critical.
Fuck yes, you are. I like it. Using weapon specialization to your advantage. So that's a natural 20. So go ahead and talk to us about the dice involved here. You're doing Gale Descent dice on top of 20 foot on top of your regular attack. You remember what it is?
I do not. I got it here somewhere, though.
Okay. It's good stuff. This graphic here is getting interesting. Look at all this shit.
What'd you get on the attack roll, man?
He got a 19, but used weapon specialization, turned it into a 20.
Sweet.
Hell yeah, he did, man.
Oh, that's what happened. I got rid of the 5. I didn't know I needed it. All right.
I'm going to say in the background of this, while we're figuring that out real quick, Jeremy, Caliban is going to rush up here and try to do some hand-to-hand with this bad boy. And he is going to morph out, and he is going to take on the Gaia's Fist, which looks like an earth and brimstone fist attack that he's going to take out, and he's going to hit this sucker with it. All right. And I'll worry about the damage on that here real quick while you're figuring out what her damage is for her Gale Descent and 20-foot fall and regular damage with a 20. Wait. That's a hit. It's a hit. Oh. Caliban's only able to hit this thing 1 out of 3 tries. And the damage for that is 15, and he's going to try a stunning strike on number 5. 7. He got it. Number 5 is stunned. So, let's go ahead and do that real quick. I'll be back to you in just 1 minute, Jeremy, and we'll finish that stuff up. Okay, boss? So let's go ahead and do number 5's shape, layer, copy layer. And let's go like this. Filter, color adjustments, hue and saturation. Let's go ahead and make you stunned. Stunned, boys and girls. Stunned. All right. That'll work. And we'll be stunned, and that is number 5. Let me write that down. All right, go ahead and talk to me about what this looks like, Jeremy.
There's going to be a whole handful of dice. I know that.
That's nice, bud. Get it.
Let's see. All right. And do you happen to recall what the additional damage was for her fall?
1d6 per 10 foot.
Okay. And she's coming down 30 foot.
It is 20. Half of
Oh,
40.
Well, what about, are we counting the additional 10 foot to drop off that ledge?
Oh, no, we're not actually. You're right. 30 foot, so 3d6.
Oh.
And then the gale assault or descent is almost like a divine smite.
So it is 6, 11, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 29 points of damage. And that's not even double.
Okay, paint me a picture. If you want to make up the final number, that's perfectly fine, but that's plenty, sir.
I want to say she's going to come up, she's going to disappear in the fog, and then when she goes to come down, all they can see is her just pop out of the fog and then just take a lance right through the eye.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. If she comes down with the dragon spirit with her, lands the lance deep into the creature, and number 1 is slain. The water effect breaks as Valdara lands prone on the deck, choking up water, and looks up as Silwyn lends her a hand to try to get her up to her feet with her second attack. Sound right? Okay. And with that, that has been everyone in this turn through other than Brahmas. We're going to finish the night with Brahmas for just a minute, okay? So let me go ahead and fix this real quick, and then we're going to get there. Good job, man. Good job. Take the lance off. Take the gale force off.
It's too bad Merk didn't have to make the wisdom saving throw because I rolled a nat 20 for a 30.
Right on. Save that where it is. And now, let's go back to where we were. As this is going on, the big bad, and you're toe-to-toe with him, and you've really hurt him, Jeremy. You put some damn good hits on him. Okay? Roll me a perception check, please.
That's another nat 20 for 22.
Okay. You feel tremors deep down in your soul. All of a sudden, when you're looking at this creature, you're getting these flashes, Jeremy. You're seeing this, you're seeing this. As you're looking around and the einherjar are looking at you, you look up And Vel'undal is shouting something at you, but it sounds like she's underwater. As she's pointing her sword forward, and the other einherjar that are behind her begin to advance and taking on this creature up here on this nightmare-like steed. Once again, you flash too. Looking out and you see rain. You seem like something's going on with a natural 20 on your perception check back with your celestial construct. What are you doing?
I think he's gonna go into the construct.
Okay. Roll
Like,
me.
he's able to see the scene in front of him on the ship?
It's flashing to you in almost like pieces of a memory, almost is the way I would describe it, Jeremy. It's very strange. It's something that you've not had happen before, and you're getting these little blasting images of the scene that's going over on the other ship in just flashes.
Do I get the sense that it's like there's a sense of urgency to it? Like, am I seeing Valdara choking up water and, everybody?
With a 20, you're hearing the sounds, but Brahmas isn't faced that way. He's facing the shoreline. But what you can see are shadows dancing on the beach and in the canopy and the tree line of things happening behind you, almost like flashes of a Vietnam vet thinking about war and stuff like that, and it's flashing around you. At that moment, a creature runs straight at you and stampedes you, one of the enemies here. We're going to say it's number 3. Let me find that real quick, okay? If I can. Okay, Undead Sentry number 3 is going to stampede. Oh, where is it? Oh, it's up here. I was on the wrong run. It's a sentry. I want to be on the Death Knight. Okay. Number 3 is going to stampede 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And as it does, it's going to make a charge attack against you with advantage because you seem to be far off somewhere else and not paying attention to what's going on. Okay? A 26 to hit.
That does hit.
Does it breach or just hit?
We don't have a breach on Merc.
That's right,
All we got is
because
ACP.
you're in this form. Okay. So the damage from that. 8 points of piercing damage. And I need you to roll a Constitution saving or a Charisma saving throw.
It'll be a 16.
Okay. I'll let you know what the DC is here real quick. You succeed. Flames go to erupt around you and start to dampen your soul from the end of his lance as he came at you at full steed. And you're able to fight back. You take an additional 4 points of fire damage, but you do not take the curse that comes with it, or the disability. Roll a strength check to see if this lancing strike, as he was charging, knocks you prone.
It's a 15.
15. Okay, no, you stood tall. This thing came through and hit you, and you turned around despite it. Describe to me what it looks like, Jeremy, and what your character's saying.
Well, as a matter of fact, let's see. Okay, never mind. I won't use it this time. But so as this thing comes charging up to him, and it lays into him. You're going to see him kind of buckle for a second before he stands up and turns back around and just
Yeah.
kind of stares at this thing. He doesn't say anything. He just gives it the dad look. Like, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
Okay. With that, Vel'undal lets off another one of her cries just like yours. You get to make one automatic attack or cantrip base level spell at the sign of her Valkyrie's favor. What are you doing with it in this moment? You have the demon standing here. You have this one that just charged you. And number 4 is getting ready to move in as well very soon.
All right. I'm going up against the demon. Because I want him down. The other guys ain't bothering me too much.
Okay.
So I'm going to use that attack with the great sword. It is going to be a natural 18. I'll try for my great weapon specialization. It's a 3, so that puts me at a natural 21, technically.
Okay, is that what you did? You tried it for your critical?
Mhm.
Okay. For flavor here, roll me a charisma skill check just for flavor. I want to see what happens.
15.
Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome, Jeremy. With that critical actually surpassing a 20 because of the feat that you're using, something very interesting happens here, and you're not quite sure what it is. But in that moment, when you're swinging that great sword around at an arc, are you trying to use the cleaving strike, or are you just swinging? Because cleaving strike could possibly hit this other one here that's beside you.
Look, I don't think I've got cleaving strike.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you do.
I absolutely do. So let me get that pulled up here. Cleaving strike. All right.
We'll be done with this in just a minute, guys. We're getting ready to get off here.
Sacrificing 5 or 10 feet of movement.
Which is great because your character hasn't moved. You're standing still, taking this spear on, taking this demon coming at you, bashing at it. The Valkyrie is chiming down to you, saying, I want everything you got. If you're getting ready to leave, I'm tapping you dry.
All right. So with a successful roll of 10 or more, the second strike gains advantage. And the initial strike deals damage plus half. And I did a critical, so I guess it's going to be critical plus half the critical damage.
Yes,
Awesome.
it is awesome, and you're welcome.
All right. So it was 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So it's 34
Damn, really?
plus 17, I guess.
Yep.
That's what? 51?
It is.
51 points of damage, slashing damage.
Paint me a picture, Jeremy.
So
As you get your third, you're up over 150 hit points into this creature now. It's been in the midst of a long battle and all this stuff. And as you ignore all these creatures around you, you get half attacks on this one, don't you? And then you smack straight into this one. Is that correct?
yeah, I go to basically if you surpass it by 10, it does damage and a half, and you get advantage on the second one as you come through. So
Okay.
yeah.
Go ahead and paint me a picture. What's it look like, man?
I'm gonna say he's gonna put every ounce of he's not gonna use his smite, but you're gonna see his great sword just radiate radiance as it comes through, and it's just like a flash of light. It
Okay,
cuts
what's
across.
crazy about it, Jeremy, is in that instance, when you do that, you see the ghostly appearance of constructual arms around you that flash into existence for a minute, making it look like you're armored in Brahmas. But it's transparent as it guides and gives you unnatural strength, as if the construct is reaching into the beyond to help you in this place you could have swore it could never have reached you. And with that 20, this is a mortal blow.
I just realized I forgot to add my damage bonus, so it's actually like 63.
That's sick. That's sick. All right. So as that happens, the demon begins to break apart as the Valkyrie looks down on you with favor and smiles and gives you a nod. As she pulls up her spear and she goes to throw it down to finish the creature off with you, the creature explodes in a blast of flames, Jeremy. As demons sometimes do. A gout of flames shoots forth from the creature. Catching you in its blast. And instantly vaporizing your mortal form. As this happens, you can hear the cheer of the other einherjar in the background, cheering on and shouting your name in victory for what you've just done. As the demon lord itself fades. The flames fade. And you are once again returned back to the inside of the construct. And if that, we'll go ahead and end tonight's session. All right, so a lot to think about. You were backing through there, and there's some things that happened there, Jeremy, that's never really happened to you before. Brahmas, the construct, reached out to help you in this moment and help give you a mortal strike somehow. That's not something that a construct does, but you've always known Brahmas is much more than that. Maybe there's some part of some kind of angelic piece to it that you're starting to unlock. You don't know. Kiltusk, you see these people starting to handle themselves, and at that last moment, as you're getting ready to draw back and shoot another arrow upon the ship, staying still hidden within the dense fog and rain of this area, you see a light flare out from the beacon of the ship. As whatever this statue is on the front of the ship comes to life. You've never seen anything quite like that before. And now that it is illuminated, you know you have seen ancient statues that primitively depict exactly, and it can't be a coincidence, what this construct looks like. In ruins in one of the central parts of the crescent cradle. Okay? And that'll be our official ending.
That's pretty interesting.
Yes, it is. You like that, do you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, with that, go ahead, take care of some business here. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. We stayed a little bit long on this one, but we had some things we wanted to take care of. Once again, I'm Brian Kynes, and thanks for watching, and we will hopefully see you all again on Sunday. Take care, everybody.